Chapter 152. Xiaofan had finally grasped the meaning of the third style of the seven-fragment saber technique, the wool-shattering form. It was breaking down and building up. After the saber intent was completely shattered, it underwent a nirvanic rebirth, causing the saber intent to soar to a whole new level. From initial success to middle success. It was a huge leap and transformation. Middle success meant that the saber Dao was not limited to anything. Grass, wood, bamboo, stone, air, water, everything in the world could be used as a saber. This level was also called saberless. It meant that the saber Dao was more powerful than the saber Dao. Now, I can easily kill a strand of my saber intent at the middle success realm, and it can travel 10 times faster than the speed of sound. Also, my thinking speed has greatly improved. My mind is clear and flawless. Just a casual look from him can turn into a saber that can kill people. Xiaofan looked at Xiaofan calmly. Of course, the middle success realm was not the perfect saber intent. Above it was the great success realm, where a strand of saber chi could kill people from 10,000 miles away. Above the great success realm, there was the legendary saber intent enchanting. At this realm, one could open the gate of the saber world and receive the ancient saber soul. It was said that one could kill immortals at this realm. However, it was unknown whether or not anyone in this region had reached the god-myth level. Xiaofan. Xiaofan said slowly. What do you say now? How about you kneel down and kowtow to me, and I will let you live. Right, you have to shatter your own sword intent. That way, you can barely survive. Now, Xiaofan's saber intent was on par with Xiaofeng's middle sword intent. Moreover, it was on the spiritual level. No one was suppressing the other anymore. It was a very subtle state. They were on equal footing. How dare you? Xiaofeng's face was slightly twisted. Xiaofan. You are indeed lucky to be able to break through the barrier between heaven and man and reach the middle success realm. But what right do you have to insult me? The middle success realm and the middle success realm are neck and neck. Besides, my sword Dao is the Dao of invincibility, the Dao of absolute victory. It is the Dao of heaven. I will shatter your saber intent again. I'll consign you to eternal damnation. In the void spectator stand. All the old fogies and experienced swordsmen were excited. Great! For the southern territory to be able to give birth to a monster like Xiaofan, it was truly a blessing. This little guy may represent the southern region and suppress the younger generation of the eastern region and the great wilderness in this year's Devil Hero trial. I heard that in this year's Devil Hero preliminaries, once you stand out, you will become a Devil Hero. There would be generous rewards. More than any previous generation. The bald old man said with a flushed face. Some old antiques. Everyone nodded in agreement. Humph. A cold snort came from Mingjian Villa's villa master, Shimen Piaoxue. Xiaofan is really arrogant and ignorant. This seat thinks that he's a complete villain intoxicated by success. Oh. Wu Yu looked at Shimen Piaoxue with an unfriendly expression. Manor Master Shimen, a vile person is intoxicated by success? I think that Xiaofan is a genius. Why do you say that he is a petty person who is intoxicated by success? The bald old man looked at Shimen Piaoxue with some displeasure. He was lucky enough to comprehend the middle stage sword intent. Not bad. But Xiaofeng also has the middle stage sword intent. The two of them are evenly matched. Xiaofan actually dared to say that he wants Xiaofeng to destroy his own sword intent, as if he would definitely win against Xiaofeng. Humph. It is still unknown who will win. He is too early to be complacent. If this isn't a petty person intoxicated by success, what is? Shimen Piaoxue's tone was full of dissatisfaction and sarcasm. Ha ha ha. Shimen Piaoxue, that's why I said that you are ignorant. Wu Yu laughed. I also admit that when the middle stage sword intent goes up against the middle stage sword intent, no one can gain the upper hand. It can be a draw. But sword cultivators are strong in offense and weak in defense. Xiaofan is focused on the sword. Other than the sword Dao, everything else is not worth mentioning. His realm is not high either. As for Xiaohan, his body is as strong as a beast in human form. His fist technique has the power of the emperor. Shimen Piao Shui, what do you say? Shimen Piao Shui was dumbfounded by this sentence. Many old antiques nodded. Yes, Xiaohan had all kinds of trump cards. Compared to him, Xiaofan was indeed lacking in variety. The great Sun Emperor's eyes flashed with killing intent. On his forehead, blue veins appeared like dragons. In the audience seats. In the sect seats. Junior brother Xiaohan, this is unbelievable. Junior brother Fang Ling, junior brother Xiaohan only has a 1 in 1,000 chance to advance from initial success to middle stage saber intent. However, junior brother Xiaohan has grasped such a small chance. Dongfang Qin was as excited as a child. Junior brother Xiaohan is famous. With his current combat strength, Xiaohan is already comparable to some unranked heroes. Fang Ling nodded. In the arena. I, Xiaofan, am proud of the world, the heavenly sword is invincible. My sword is the heavenly Dao. Xiaohan, even if you have comprehended the middle stage sword intent, you still can't go against the heavens. You can only accept the punishment. Xiaofan drew his sword again. In his eyes, there was a sword qi that could destroy all the negative emotions, leaving behind the will to win. Die. Heavenly sword. Xiaofan slashed out again. This slash was like a deluge of heavenly flowers, golden lotuses appeared on the ground, showing a faint law of the heavenly Dao. The heavenly might was furious. The firmament collapsed. Now, Xiaohan's thoughts could completely keep up with Xiaofang's sword and sword intent. He also slashed with his saber. The sword will and the sword will clashed against each other. Streaks of saber light and sword light tore through the void like lightning. Xiaohan activated the broken jade style and sky-shattering style, trying to forcefully break Xiaofang's sword momentum. But this is almost impossible. The two of them were evenly matched in terms of concept. Indeed, neither of them could gain the upper hand. The entire arena was filled with flashes of blades and shadows of swords. The battle between the two was extremely intense, and it was hard to determine who had the upper hand. I can't defeat Xiaofan with saber intent alone. Never mind, I'll just charge forward. Now, my saber will is on par with his sword will, which gives me a chance to get close to him and use the most primitive method to tear him apart. Xiaohan licked his lips. Just then, wang, his heart throbbed. The seal with traces of the 7-fragment saber technique was triggered, and 2 cocoons of light leaped out. 7-fragment saber technique, 4th form. Emotion-shattering form. 7-fragmented blade technique, 5th form. Desire-shattering form, shatter the 7 emotions and 6 desires, without sorrow or joy. He was unfazed by favors or insults. The saber slashed out. Transcend the mortal and enter the divine. Once Xiaohan comprehended the desire-shattering form, he unexpectedly obtained the profound meaning of the 4th and 5th forms of the 7-fragment saber technique. For a moment, Xiaohan temporarily gave up the idea of fighting Xiaofan in close combat, and his mind was immersed in the various secrets of these 2 forms. Pooh! 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 The saber intent and the sword intent intertwined and strangled each other like a violent storm. Divine rainbows and red clouds blossomed in all directions. The violent saber chi and sword chi poured onto the light curtain that covered the arena. Ripples spread out from the light curtain. Xiaohan and Xiaofan were in a complete stalemate. In the void stand. The two seem to be tied. The bald old man frowned. I've said it before, Xiaofan doesn't have the strength to crush Xiaofan. The master of the Mingjian Peak, Shimen Piao Shui, said coldly. Moreover, Xiaofan is at the 4th level of true qi, and Xiaofan is at the 3rd level of true qi. If this continues, Xiaofan will lose. Of course, you can judge it as a draw. My Mingjian villa has no objections. In fact, Shimen Piao Shui really hoped that Xiaofan and Xiaofan would stop fighting. In fact, Shimen Piao Shui knew that no matter what, Xiaofan couldn't defeat Xiaofan anymore. At least not now. A draw? The bald old man gathered many old antiques and began to discuss in a low voice. Sect Master, it's strange. Why doesn't Xiaofan use other methods? Now that his saber intent is on par with Xiaofeng's sword intent, he can take the opportunity to get close and use his physical strength to crush Xiaofeng. Xiao Mingchu was puzzled. Let's keep watching. Xiaofan is already in an invincible position. Wu Yu's eyes were full of admiration and gratification. In the arena, 7 emotions, joy, anger, sorrow, joy, love, evil, desire, 6 desires, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. The emotion-shattering stance and desire-shattering stance of the 7-fragment blade art are to forget the 7 emotions and 6 desires, to forget victory and defeat, to forget honor and disgrace, in order to make this strike flawless and pure. To reach the realm of transcendence and sanctity. To be able to completely ignore the 7 emotions and 6 desires, the power must be very great. It can become a saint, it can defy the natural order. Xiaofan began to concentrate on these 2 saber techniques. Joy. Anger. Sorrow, eye. Ear. Nose, shatter the 7 emotions and 6 desires, and release all the energy, battle intent, and saber intent in an instant. Xiaofan thoroughly understood the profoundness of these 2 saber techniques. However, it was not that easy to shatter the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Currently, Xiaofan could be considered to have shattered the joy and anger of the 7 emotions. The eyes and ears of the 6 desires. Alright. Although this slash isn't perfect, it's more than enough to defeat Xiaofeng. A peerless saber light flashed across Xiaofan's eyes. At this moment, Xiaofan, you can't defeat me. I can't defeat you for now. How about this, we can stop for now. 3 years. After 3 years, we will fight it out. Xiaofan, you are very good. You are lucky to be the enemy that I, Xiaofeng, have sworn to surpass in these 3 years. It is your honor, Xiaofeng said seriously. Let's stop. We can't decide the winner. He. Xiaofan's lips curled into a smile. Wrong, Xiaofeng, you are going to lose. You are going to lose right now. And let me tell you, even if I don't defeat you today, you will lose in 3 years. There will be no more suspense. What? Xiaofeng's eyes almost popped out of his head. How dare you? Xiaofan, Xiaofeng, have slept for 4 years and obtained the inherited memories. Cultivating sword arts is as easy as eating and drinking. 3 years is more than enough for me to comprehend an invincible sword art. It is even possible for me to improve my sword intent to the great success level. Wrong. All wrong. Xiaofan shook his head slightly. You put too much emphasis on winning and losing. Therefore, not to mention 3 years, you will never be able to reach the divine level in your entire life. What? This sentence caused Xiaofeng to be completely stunned. His heart instantly showed a trace of weakness. On the platform in the void. Alright, this round is considered a draw. Both of them will advance to the next round of the group of death. The elders discussed for a while and the bald elder finally made the decision. Right at this moment, wait. Xiaofan slashed out with his saber. This slash, this slash. Everyone, watch. One of the elders exclaimed in shock. On the stage, Xiaofan slashed out with his saber. This slash shattered the joy and anger of the 7 emotions, the eye and nose of the 6 desires. This saber strike brought all of Xiao Chen's energy, battle intent, and saber intent to the peak, unleashing them to their limits. Boom! The slash swept out. It was like a waterfall, like a rainbow, like a divine ray. This slash was magnificent, its saber light illuminating the world. Countless strange phenomena appeared, flowers bloomed and withered, the wind blew, the clouds scud, the wind and thunder, the dragon, the tiger, and the black tortoise all appeared. Demons and gods easily vanquished. The aura of this slash was extremely powerful. As the saber intent spread out, it could devour mountains and rivers, sweeping through the 9 continents. However, strangely enough, this slash did not have a strong murderous intent. Instead, it had a trace of the aura of the Tao. Wherever the saber light passed through, all the space, time, and light were subdued and collapsed inward. Impossible. I, Xiaofan, cannot be defeated by you. This slash had forced Xiaofan to a dead end. An emotion that he had never felt before appeared in his heart: failure. The flaw in his mind was getting bigger and bigger. Go to hell. Heavenly sword. Light of judgment. Xiaofan also used his ultimate sword technique, his sword intent surging wildly. The saber and the sword collided. Puchi. An indistinct cracking sound rang out with a loud rumble. The next moment, the arena was filled with fragmented sword light that looked like fireworks. Puff 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 puff, the remaining sword intent aimlessly cut through the air, making a loud explosion. Bang! Suddenly, Xiaofan knelt on both knees, the sword intent in his eyes shattered. Blood flowed out from the corner of his eyes. The sound of sword intent being crushed is very pleasant, isn't it? Xiaofan chuckled and immediately retreated from the arena. The audience was silent. Xiaofan. Xiaofang's sword intent has been crushed. Someone shouted. In an instant, the audience was in chaos. On the void viewing platform. That slash crushed Xiaofang's sword intent into pieces. The bald old man swallowed his saliva. We are still one step too late, causing Xiaofang's sword intent to be destroyed. I'm afraid a genius has fallen. To be continued. Chapter 153. Xiaofan had shattered a small part of the 7 emotions and 6 desires. He launched a heaven-defying blade attack, which forcefully crushed Xiaofang's sword intent. Then, he left the battlefield. Clean and neat. Xiaofan was crawling on the arena, trembling in fear. He was howling. His eyes were filled with blood. His sword intent had been crushed into powder and could no longer be recovered. This man was ruined. Everyone was in awe. Of course, Xiaofan didn't regenerate his sword essence like Xiaofan did. He was a complete loser and was carried off the arena. In the spectator stand. Sigh. A group of old fogies looked regretful. We were still a step too late. Xiaofan was crippled by Xiaofan. As a result, the southern region has lost a genius. Yeah, losing a genius like Xiaofan in the preliminaries is really a waste of God's gift. Forget it. The bald old man waved his hand. It's nothing. Maybe Xiaofan was right. Xiaofan cared too much about winning and losing, so he couldn't reach the peak of sword principle. Xiaofan's attack seemed to have reached the realm of forgetting his emotions and desires. How should one put it? This battle had caused Xiaofan's name to shake the southern domain, and he had undergone a tremendous transformation. Xiaofan helped Xiaofan achieve his goal. Without Xiaofan, Xiaofan wouldn't have become so powerful in such a short time. Forget it, Xiaofang's contributions can't go unnoticed, so let's give him some compensation. Let's continue. Xiaofan. The manor lord of the Mingjian villa, Shimenpiaoxue, suddenly stood up. His eyes were completely filled with blood, and the sword intent around his body was like the sea. He clenched his teeth and wanted to kill, as if he was grieving for his parents. Xiaofan. This child actually crippled my Mingjian villa's future sword god. Humph. Wu snorted and looked at Shimenpiaoxue indifferently. Enough. Shimenpiaoxue. If you don't want to stay here and watch the competition, get out of here. Then get out of here immediately. The bald old man's face was sinister. Restrain your qi. Don't be rude here. A few powerful auras enveloped Shimenpiaoxue. It directly covered Shimenpiaoxue, causing him to wake up in an instant. He looked at Xiaofan, who was sitting in the death group's seating area, with eyes full of resentment, and sat down without a word. In his eyes, he began to incessantly conjure up some schemes and plots. In the death group. Xiaofan suddenly felt as if someone was staring at him from afar. It even made Xiaofan feel a strong killing intent. This was the transformation of Xiaofan's mind after his sword Dao reached the middle stage. He had a mysterious and inexplicable premonition towards potential dangers and murderous intents. It was like a sixth sense. Xiaofan's expression did not change as he lifted his head to look at the viewing gallery in the empty space. Soon after, he laughed involuntarily. Looks like someone is very unhappy with me after crippling Xiaofan, brother Xiao, you. Fatty Zhu came over. You're invincible. Brother Xiao, ah. Boss Xiao, how about I follow you in the future? You're too strong. You can even regenerate your saber intent after it's shattered. Furthermore, you're even able to comprehend the mid-stage saber intent. Fatty really admires you. Boss Xiao. Alright. Brother Zhu. Xiaofan was speechless. Fatty Zhu even pushed him repeatedly. A charming smile appeared on her face. Brother Zhu, I was just lucky enough to comprehend the intermediate saber intent. It's not worth mentioning. Brother Xiao, you're really amazing. Mo Qingtong observed Xiaofan over and over again. Soon after, she burst into laughter. I can't see through you. Until now, Qingtong still can't see through Brother Xiao. Her smile was so charming that it was almost like a witch's charm. She was a natural stunner. When Xiaofan used his saber skills, he could destroy a part of the 7 emotions and 6 desires, reaching the supreme realm of being emotionless and desireless. But normally, he was still a normal man, full of vigor. When facing a beauty like Mo Qingtong, Xiaofan could not help but feel a little restless. But fortunately, he was able to suppress this desire and not embarrass himself in front of Mo Qingtong. At this time, the competition in the group of death continued. Xiaofan had become the first contestant in the group of death to advance to the top 11. Thus, he was happy to relax and quietly watch the other contestants compete. At the same time, he nurtured his spirit. Just now, the saber that crushed Xiaofang's sword intent had almost drained Xiaofan's spirit. His spirit was exhausted and even his saber intent was tired. He needed a good rest to recover. But now, Crown Prince Huolai looked at Xiaofan with a very complicated gaze. This kid actually crippled Xiaofan. Damn it! In the beginning, his combat strength wasn't that strong and I could easily torture him to death. However, after each battle, he was able to improve. Until now, when he defeated Xiaofan, I don't even dare to say that I can win against him. If we let him continue to grow, one day, he will become the number 1 of the young generation in the southern region. At that time, it will be very difficult for us to catch up to him. We must kill him in advance. Otherwise, how can we have the chance to stand out? Won't we be crushed to death by him? Crown Prince Hualai's eyes began to brew a trace of thinking and conspiracy. The following matches in the group of death were more valuable. After all, those who could fight to this extent in the group of death were not weaklings. In this round, Mo Qingtong's opponent was very difficult to deal with. It turned out to be a 4th-level True Qi expert who used his True Qi to form the starry sky wings. Mo Qingtong fought with this person for half an hour before she seized the opportunity to release the great heavenly devil world. She directly pulled her opponent down from the sky and firmly suppressed him. Mo Qingtong entered the top 11 of the group of death. Ji Rushui's opponent was not weak, but Ji Rushui was even stronger, almost to the point of being a complete mess. As soon as she entered the stage, she took out the wordless heavenly book and struck down a howling wind formation, trapping her opponent in the formation. Wind and sand swirled and wind, fire and thunder surged together. Her opponent only lasted for a dozen breaths before all his true qi was obliterated. He could only kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. So strong. Fatty Zhu involuntarily looked at Xiaofan. Indeed, very strong. I really don't know how many formations are contained in her wordless heavenly book's true qi cultivation method. Xiaofan also frowned. Ji Rushui was once regarded by Xiao Mingchu as the most difficult to deal with among the top 10 seeded contestants. With Xiao Mingchu's ability, it was impossible for him to speak nonsense. Brother Xiao, perhaps in the group of death, only you can defeat Ji Rushui. Mo Qingtong said with a serious expression. Xiaofan quickly shook his head. Fatty Zhu also defeated his opponent in the next battle. He obtained a place in the top 11. Next was Crown Prince Hualai. In the fierce battle, a blazing sun floated above his head. In the blazing sun, a 3-legged golden crow poked its head out. With a slight breath, supreme heavenly fire descended, turning the entire stage into a sea of fire. Tens of thousands of rays of sunlight shot down, heavy chanting and Zen sounds rang out everywhere, and illusions appeared. Everywhere collapsed, causing the opponent to be burned to ashes. This Crown Prince Hualai was also extremely powerful. In the end, the group of death decided the 11 strongest contestants. The competition was nearing its end. In the final 11, one lucky person would be drawn out in the next round, and then 5 people would advance from the 10. Finally, it was time for the top 6 to advance to the top 3. At most, there were still 2 matches left. Xiaohan's gaze swept across the 10 opponents other than himself. Among them, the stronger ones were Crown Prince Hualai and Ji Rushui. Mo Qingtong. Of course, Xiaofan vaguely knew. Fatty Zhu had always been putting on an act, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. In fact, his true battle strength was unfathomable, and he could not be underestimated. Xiaofan did some calculations in his heart. Then, the corners of his mouth pulled into a faint smile. No matter who I meet, they can't erase my confidence to move forward. However, Fatty Zhu and Mo Qingtong have some personal relations with me, and they are also good to me. It's best not to meet them in the last 2 rounds. I don't want to fight with them in the arena. Next was the competition of the other groups. The competition of the other groups was also nearing its end, and they were basically in the top 5 of the 10. Xiao Yunrong and Huiyang, whom Xiaofan was concerned about, had also entered the top 5 of their groups without mishap. I hope they can always be lucky, Xiaofan thought to himself. The qualifiers are about to end. Everyone is in the final sprint. The death group competition. The top 11 of the death group all stood up, arms crossed as they looked at the void stands. Brother Xiao, I hope we don't meet, Mo Qingtong said softly, as if she was whispering, making one's bones itch. That's right, Boss Xiao, Fatty doesn't want to meet you either. You're too strong. If I meet you, Fatty has no chance at all. Fatty Zhu smiled foolishly. But now, no one can say for sure. The 11 of them will draw their opponents, and the probability of drawing anyone is very high. It's a gamble of luck. In the previous round, Fatty got a bye, which meant that Fatty's luck was good. In this round, the top 11 would advance to the top 6, and there would still be a bye. Fatty had a premonition, maybe this bye would fall onto Fatty's head again. He. Fatty Zhu, if you really draw a bye again, then I can't help but suspect that your old Fatty is secretly playing tricks. Mo Qingtong glared at Fatty Zhu. Fatty Zhu only smiled foolishly. According to the order, Brother Xiao will be the first to draw an opponent. Not long after, an old and dignified voice rang out from the void, the death group, the top 6 of the 11 will be randomly drawn. Beacon Fire Empire, Pure Cloud Sect, Xiaofan. This round, Xiaofan will draw a bye and directly enter the top 6. It's me? Xiaofan was astonished. I directly entered the top 6. Congratulations, Brother Xiao. Mo Qingtong also seemed to be relieved. At least Qingtong won't have to meet Brother Xiao in this round. Fatty Zhu looked like he was about to cry. Sigh. Fatty did not draw a bye. Brother Xiao, it seems that Fatty's luck has turned to Brother Xiao. Alright. Every dog has its day, Xiaofan smiled. Brother Zhu, stop pretending. With your battle strength, as long as you don't meet a few seeded contestants, you still have a chance of entering the top 6. He actually drew a bye. Crown Prince Huolai looked at Xiaofan from the corner of his eyes. In fact, his eyes were filled with joy and relief. Like Mo Qingtong, Xiaofan getting a bye was, in fact, a good thing for them. Currently, among the contestants in the death group, no one wanted to fight Xiaofan. Of course, Ji Rushui might be an exception. On the void viewing platform. My luck is not bad. I entered the top 6. Wuli was also relaxed. Group of Death. After drawing a bye, Xiaofan had already sat down while the other 10 people were still standing nervously, waiting for the announcement of the draw. A voice rang out from the void once more, Lingshan Empire, number 1 aristocratic family, Ji Clan, eldest daughter, Ji Rushui, versus Blazing Sun Empire, giant sword sect, Zhu Hu. Fatty, you better pray for your own good. After hearing the draw, Xiaofan jumped up and patted Fatty Zhu's shoulder. Fatty Zhu burst into tears. My condolences. Mo Qingtong smiled at the side. Oh right, Fatty, thank you for drawing the strongest one away for me. You're really a good person, you're the good person. Your whole family are good people. Fatty Zhu said with tears in his eyes. To be continued. Chapter 154. Fatty Zhu, who had always been a yes-man and almost wretched, had actually drawn Ji Rushui. This caused many in the audience to look at him gloatingly. Although Fatty Zhu was able to smoothly enter the top 11 of the group of death and was recognized as a dark horse in the southern region qualifiers, no one thought that he could pose any threat to Ji Rushui. The young woman Ji Rushui was publicly recognized as a dangerous person. She was unfathomable. Her battle strength was not inferior to Xiaofang's. Moreover, her true energy cultivation method was a wordless heavenly book. Some people even thought that it was an incomplete, immortal technique. In the audience stands. Xiaofan has already passed the bye and entered the top 6 of the group of death. The other spot has already been decided. It's Ji Rushui. Yes. Ji Rushui will occupy one of the top 6 spots. There's no suspense. In the void stands. 2 of the top 6 have already been decided. One is young Xiaofan, the other is Ji Rushui. A few old antiques nodded. Ji Rushui is as calm as still water. She has the demeanor of a great expert. The bald old man also admired Ji Rushui. Sect Master, it seems that little Fatty is going to be eliminated. Xiao Mingchu leaned back in his chair and stretched comfortably. Heh. Wu Lu smiled mysteriously. He then looked at a middle-aged fatty not far away. The fat middle-aged man was sitting steadily with a simple and honest look on his face. His eyes were very small, hidden in the folds of his chubby flesh. They rolled around and emitted a bright light. That was Fatty Zhu's father. The current sect master of the giant sword sect of the Blazing Sun Empire, Zhu Ganglai. Mingchu, little Fatty's father, Zhu Ganglai. You've heard of him? Wu Lu smiled lightly. Zhu Ganglai of the giant sword sect of the Blazing Sun Empire? He's famous for being wretched. Xiao Mingchu glared. Sect master, I heard that this Zhu Ganglai is a hero of the same generation as you. He's best at sneak attacks, setting traps, and pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Hiding a knife in his smile. Zhu Ganglai participated in the Devil Hero trial with me. A look of reminiscence appeared in Wu Yu's eyes. This guy is completely shameless and likes to pretend to be a nobody. I remember that during the Devil Hero tryouts, there was a test question. In the Western Region Desert, a team of thousands of people had to hunt down a demon emperor. In the end, only 5 people survived, and Big Fatty Zhu was one of them. Moreover, the final sword strike that killed the demon emperor was Big Fatty Zhu's handiwork. Later on, I heard that this fellow pretended to be dead from the beginning. When the demon emperor's demonic energy was almost depleted, he suddenly made his move and crushed the demon emperor into a bloody mist. TSK, Mingchu, do you think the son of such a person would be easy to deal with? Oh? So powerful? Xiao Mingchu was stunned. Zhu Ganglai, come here. Wu Yu laughed loudly. Oh? Brother Wu. When the middle-aged fat man heard Wu Xiao calling him, he immediately jumped up. His face was full of flattery, and he almost wanted to kneel down and lick Wu Xiao's feet. Fatty immediately rushed over, nodding and bowing. Brother Wu, you called me little brother? Oh. Heavenly Devil old man, you're here too? Come on, Fatty, don't give me that. Heavenly Devil old man laughed and scolded. It's been so many years, do you think I don't know your character? Your son is now going to fight with Ji Ruxue for a spot in the death group competition. Fatty, tell me the truth, how confident is your son? I have no confidence at all. Fatty beat his chest and stamped his feet. Little Tiger is my youngest son. He has been ignorant since he was young. He likes to relax and hates work, and is always sloppy. No, he will be defeated in one move when fighting against an expert like Ji Ruxue. Alright, Fatty. Wu Yu smiled faintly. There should be a 50% chance. No, how can there be a 50% chance? Fatty shook his head repeatedly. 60% chance of winning? Wu Yu frowned. Brother Wu, don't joke like this. Fatty still shook his head. 70%? Wu Yu's expression turned serious. Brother Wu, you really talk nonsense. Fatty suddenly looked around, then lowered his voice and said. Brother Wu, don't be so loud. Be quiet, 80%? Wu Yu and Heaven's Devil old man said at the same time. Fatty no longer shook his head. His eyes flashed, his fists clenched, and he said with a trembling voice. Brother Wu, Heaven's Devil old man, this little brother's ancestor's grave is emitting smoke. It wasn't easy for me to give birth to such a son. You must not make a fuss. In the future, the giant sword sect will rely on my son to bring glory to the sect. I understand. Wu Yu nodded in agreement. Fatty, congratulations. Fatty made a shushing gesture and then grinned. Brother Wu, this little brother and you were in the same Devil Hero selection competition. Thanks to Brother Wu's guidance and saving my life several times, this little brother was lucky enough to become a Devil Hero. After so many years, Brother Wu and this little brother are both old. Now, it is the world of the younger generation. This time, Brother Wu's proud disciple, Xiaofan, will participate in the Devil Hero selection competition with this little brother's son, little Fatty Zhu. I hope that the young Xiaofan will take care of this little brother and support little Fatty Zhu. Wu Yu nodded. Fatty smiled foolishly a few times and then walked away. Sect Master, 80% chance of winning? Zhu Gonglia's son has an 80% chance of winning against Ji Rushui? How is that possible? Xiao Mingchu's face was full of disbelief. At least 90% chance of winning. Wu Yu said solemnly. Zhu Ganglai, you can never count on him to know everything. With my understanding of him, his son has at least a 90% chance of winning and entering the top 6. Ji Rushui is about to be eliminated. On the stage. Ji Rushui, who was dressed like a widow, stood weakly on the stage. Her figure was slender, her eyebrows were lightly swept, and her teeth were like those of a rhinoceros. The faint sorrow between her eyebrows was enough to break anyone's heart. He. Big sister Ji. This little brother is Fatty Zhu. Please take care of me. Fatty Zhu stood in front of Ji Rushui with a silly smile and cupped his hands. His actions were very comical. Ha 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 ha, this clown. The audience burst into a wave of laughter. Fatty. Admit defeat. Admit defeat yourself so you don't get beaten up. Some of the audience whistled as they mocked. Little Fatty, don't pretend anymore. Ji Rushui smiled gently. I know you have a trump card. I won't let my guard down against you. Alright, let's begin. Boom. As soon as she finished speaking, 10,000 rays of true qi rushed out from Ji Rushui's body and soared into the sky. In an instant, these rays of light intertwined and a heavenly book that was several acres in size appeared out of nowhere. The heavenly book was steaming with a faint heavenly wind. There was the sky, the earth, the ocean, the lake, the hills, the valleys, the countries, and all living beings. One by one, they appeared. There was a vast aura of civilization rolling on the heavenly book, as if it was spreading the truth and civilization. Suddenly, the heavenly book opened up and was instantly majestic. The wind blew for thousands of miles, and countless figures appeared on it, revolving around the heavenly book. These figures emitted an otherworldly aura. All of them stepped on auspicious clouds, their heads were above the sky, and their hands were like hooks, tearing the sky apart. 9 Lion Immortal Suppression Formation. With Ji Rushui's shout, the heavenly book flipped to the first page, and an array formation directly descended, enveloping Fatty Zhu. The moment the array formation descended, a total of 9 lions appeared in all directions. The 9 lions rose together, completely surrounding Fatty Zhu in the middle. In the next moment, the 9 lions roared at the same time, and 9 golden halos immediately appeared. They pierced through the space inch by inch, and the array formation shone brightly. The 9 halos broke through the illusion and headed straight for the heart. They exploded together, causing the world to tremble. The lion roars from all directions rang out incessantly. In the audience stands. What a powerful array formation. The power of this array formation is enough to destroy the entire arena. Fatty Zhu is dead for sure. I didn't expect that Ji Rushui, who looks weak and harmless, would be so violent and merciless when she fights. Let me tell you, Ji Rushui just lost her husband. How can she be in a good mood? Don't you see the murderous aura between her brows? Fatty is in trouble. In the arena. No. Fatty Zhu howled miserably. At the same time, a beam of light shot out from his body. It was as straight as a sword and tore through the void. An obscure pressure came down from the void. The next moment, boom! A gigantic sword over 300 feet long fell from the void. This sword was not formed from Fatty Zhu's quintessential qi, but more like a real object. It was completely black and seemed to be carved from some extraterrestrial meteorite. It possessed endless destructive power and even had the illusion that it could pierce through the stars in the sky and crush the sun and moon. The gigantic sword came crashing down like the blue sky was collapsing. Pfft! Ji Rushui's first array formation was actually crushed by the gigantic sword. Humph! Ji Rushui snorted coldly and flipped to the second page of the heavenly book, Myriad Sword Absolute Kill Array. In an instant, the entire arena and the void were filled with densely packed sword beams. Some of these sword beams were shaped like fish, while others were shaped like birds. They swam around, shaking their heads and wagging their tails. The next moment, boom! 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 These sword beams slashed down towards Fatty Zhu like a dense rain, as though they wanted to stab Fatty Zhu into a hornet's nest. Fatty Zhu screamed and hid behind the gigantic sword. Pft! 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 The gigantic sword was instantly riddled with holes from the sword chi that resembled gossamer threads. In the audience stands. Ha ha ha! Fatty Zhu is going to lose this time. Hurry up and admit defeat, or you'll be shot into a sieve. Ji Rushui's sword array is really powerful. However, swoosh! 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 Four beams of light shot out from Fatty Zhu's body. Each beam of light pierced through the sky and tore open a gap. The next moment, boom! 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 A total of 4 gigantic swords descended like a sovereign descending upon the world, suppressing everything. Each gigantic sword was over 300 feet long. They were dark and heavy, and each gigantic sword could shatter mountains, shake stars, and crush space in all directions. The 4 gigantic swords descended together, blasting the arena into pieces. Ji Rushui's face paled as a ray of light appeared beneath her feet, causing her to fly into the sky. Fatty, I don't want to play anymore. You're too powerful. Fatty doesn't want to play with you anymore. Fatty Zhu wailed. Swoosh! 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 One after another, beams of light shot out from Fatty Zhu's body, tearing open gaps in the sky. Every time a gap was torn open, a gigantic sword would descend. In a breath's time, a total of 20 gaps appeared in the sky. 20 gigantic swords slowly descended, causing the atmosphere of the entire Sunset Mountain to become oppressive. The mountain began to shake as though it was about to disintegrate. It was in imminent danger. In the audience stands, all the spectators were dumbfounded. In the void stands. What? Little Fatty Zhu can actually summon so many gigantic swords? The bald old man cried out in surprise. Great! This little fatty. He hid it so deeply. So powerful to such an extent. With these dozens of gigantic swords pressing down, Sunset Mountain will collapse, right? Xiao Mingchu was dumbfounded. Gaga gaga. Zhu Genglai laughed on the other side, appearing extremely coquettish. In the seats of the group of death, all the contestants stood up and looked at each other. Their faces were filled with shock and bewilderment. This damn fatty really knows how to act. Mo Qingtong gritted her teeth in hatred. Even Ji Rushui is not his match. Brother Xiao, we've all been tricked by him. As for Xiaofan, he was in a state of deep thought. Suddenly, Xiaofan slapped his forehead. I know. What do you know? Mo Qingtong frowned. I know how to break Brother Zhu's move. Xiaofan smiled and sat back down. How do we break these gigantic swords? Mo Qingtong's eyes flashed as she approached Xiaofan. Brother Xiao, tell me, how do we break this damn fatty's trump card? I can't say it, I can't say it. Once I say it, the power of Brother Zhu's cultivation technique will be greatly reduced. Xiaofan shook his head and immediately smiled. All right, Ji Rushui has admitted defeat, Brother Zhu has entered the top 6. In the void stands. This year's Southern Region qualifiers, the biggest dark horse has appeared. The bald old man was inexplicably excited. Our Southern Region is really full of talents this time. There's the youth Xiaofan before us, and now there's this little fatty Zhu. Ha ha ha. This old man has high hopes for the two of them. In the main competition, they will suddenly emerge as a new force. Suppress all the heroes with their skills. Chapter 155. Facing the sky full of giant swords that could explode at any time, the oppressive atmosphere made Ji Rushui want to vomit blood. Ji Rushui had no choice but to take the initiative to admit defeat. Although she was extremely unwilling, the situation was stronger than her, so she could only leave with hatred. Fatty Zhu advanced into the top 6 of the group of death. He returned to his seat with a silly smile. Brother Zhu, congratulations. You've also entered the top 6, Xiaofan said with a smile. Fatty, you're really good. Even Ji Rushui was defeated by you. Mo Qingtong squinted at Fatty Zhu. Luck, it's all luck. Fatty Zhu looked like a stupid pig. Fatty was almost scared to death just now. Ji Rushui's formations were endless, so Fatty had to fight to the death. Brother Xiao. Mo Qingtong suddenly looked at Xiaofan coquettishly and exhaled, just tell me how to break Fatty's move. You know, right? This can't be said. Xiaofan quickly said. Miss Mo, it's better if you don't ask. Boss Xiao, do you know how to break Fatty's move? Fatty Zhu's eyes flashed and he said nervously. Xiaofan smiled noncommittally. At this time, a deep and aged voice came from the void. It was Mo Qingtong's turn to go on stage. This time, her opponent was a woman with 4th level true qi and a fierce palm technique. Humph, Brother Xiao, you will tell Qingtong sooner or later. Mo Qingtong stood up, the silver rings on her body made a light sound, eroding the bones and the demonic sound lingered. With a flash, she flew into the stage. Crown Prince Huolai looked at Fatty Zhu, his thoughts fluctuating. There was Xiaofan, and now there's a damn Fatty. Mo Qingtong is not easy to deal with. I wonder if I will encounter one of them in the top 6. On the void viewing platform. Now, many of the experts were still immersed in the battle between Fatty Zhu and Ji Rushui. Little Fatty Zhu hid his strength too deeply, almost as monstrous as Xiaofan. In the next round, it will be interesting if little Fatty Zhu and Xiaofan fight. From what I see, little Fatty Zhu's monstrous level is even higher than Xiaofan's. Yes, little Fatty Zhu can summon a large number of giant swords. Each giant sword is powerful enough to suppress thousands of ancient swords. A mountain range can be flattened and a city can be easily razed to the ground. I'm afraid Xiaofan is not this little Fatty's opponent. Sect Master, little Fatty Zhu's technique is indeed unique. It seems to be using his own true qi to communicate with a special space and summon the giant sword. Xiao Mingchu frowned as he pondered. Each of these giant swords has a strength of several 100,000 cauldrons. They are no small matter. Giant swords with hundreds of thousands of cauldrons of power. From Little Wu. Legend has it that the giant sword sect was founded in ancient times and has a long history. At its peak, many elders worked together to open up an independent space and stored large amounts of giant swords inside. Little sect, in Little Fatty time, it, 1, and 10 giant sword, time. However, it was extremely difficult to communicate with an independent space. It seemed to have something to do with the density of his bloodline. Even with Zhu Gonglia's tyrannical true qi cultivation, he was only able to summon 7 giant swords. Zhu Little Fatty, on the other hand, perhaps due to his ancestral bloodline atavism, was able to easily communicate with the independent space created by his ancestor with a cultivation of level 4 true Qi and summon dozens of giant swords. This could be considered a strange thing. A descendant of the giant sword sect like little fatty Zhu is indeed hard to come by. Sect Master, this disciple is worried that junior brother Xiaofan will encounter little fatty Zhu in the next round. Xiao Mingchu said with a grave expression. The competition to advance to the top 3 is especially crucial. Junior brother Xiaofan can't afford to make any mistakes in the final step. Otherwise, all our efforts will be wasted. Ha ha ha. Wu Li laughed involuntarily. Mingchu, the giant sword sect's giant sword summoning technique is very strong, but its weakness is also very obvious. As long as we grasp this weakness, we will be able to suppress it. If my guess is correct, Xiaofan might have already discovered the only flaw in this technique. A flaw? Xiao Mingchu pondered. After a few breaths, he broke into a smile. Ha ha ha. Sect Master, this disciple also understands. So that's how it is, so that's how it is. On the stage, the matches of the group of death had all ended. The top 6 were born. Xiaohan, Fatty Zhu, Mo Qingtong, Crown Prince Huolai. Apart from these 4, there were 2 sect disciples with slightly weaker combat strength. In the next round, the group of death would have a final battle. 3 out of 6 would be decided, and 3 spots would be decided. Everything would be settled. Among the top 6, the 4 with the strongest combat strength were Xiaohan, Fatty Zhu, Mo Qingtong, and Crown Prince Huolai. However, there were only 3 spots, which meant that among these 4, at least one would be eliminated. Mo Qingtong's demonic eyes swept across and thought, as long as I don't touch Brother Xiao and Fatty Zhu, I will definitely get a spot. Crown Prince Huolai is not my opponent. Fatty Zhu laughed foolishly while pondering. If I touch Brother Xiao, it will be the worst. If I touch Mo Qingtong, it will be the best. If I touch Crown Prince Huolai, it will be the best. Crown Prince Huolai's eyes were ferocious. Damn Fatty and Mo Qingtong are not easy to touch. Although Xiaohan has comprehended saber intent, his realm is far from mine. There are 3,000 great Daos, not only saber intent and sword intent are the best. My great Sun Heart Sutra is not to be trifled with. If I must touch someone, then I will touch Xiaohan. It will also fulfill one of Master's wishes. Xiaohan thought, the one I want to touch the most is Crown Prince Huolai. Last time, if not for eldest senior brother's appearance, would have been captured by the great Son of Heaven and would have suffered all kinds of torture, living a life worse than death. Now, my strength is far from the great Son of Heaven, but it should not be a problem to deal with his disciple, Crown Prince Huolai. I will kill his disciple in the arena in front of the great Son of Heaven to relieve the hatred in my heart. Thinking of this, Xiaohan could not help but look at Crown Prince Huolai. Coincidentally, Crown Prince Huolai's eyes also swept over. Their eyes met, creating a thick smell of gunpowder, smoke filled the air, and murderous intent overflowed. Xiaohan, you better pray that you don't draw me, otherwise, I will make you beg for death. Crown Prince Huolai sneered. I want to see, if I kill you, what kind of expression will great Son of Heaven have? Xiaohan retorted. The competition of the other groups. According to the rules, at this stage of the competition of the other groups would have to decide the final 3, and then it would be the group of death. 99 groups, one by one, would decide the top 3, and the 3 places in the main competition. Every time a place in the main competition was decided, the audience would burst out in cheers. Xiaohan still put his attention on Xiao Yunrong and Huiyang. As for whether the others obtained the places in the main competition, it had nothing to do with Xiaohan. Xiao Yunrong's group. 5 people fought for 3 places. One of the places would be decided by drawing lots. Then, 4 people would fight, and the other 2 places would be decided. Xiao Yunrong was blessed with luck, and was directly drawn, becoming the lucky one who was doted on by thousands. First, she obtained a place in the main competition. She cheered on the arena, and tears of excitement flowed down her cheeks. With her realm and battle strength, to be able to reach this stage, it was really not easy. Of course, there was also a big factor of luck. But no matter what, she had entered the main competition, and had the basic qualifications to become a devil hero. Huiyang's group still had 5 people fighting for 3 places. They also first drew a lucky one. But Huiyang was not as lucky as Xiao Yunrong. The lucky one in this group belonged to a rogue cultivator from the Soul Mountain Empire. In the 2-on-1 battle, Huiyang, who had taken a precious medicine that overdrafted his life potential, used all his skills to defeat his opponent, and also obtained a precious place in the main competition. But Huiyang and Xiao Yunrong were different. For this place, Huiyang had sacrificed too much, and now even overdrafted his life, with only 10 years of lifespan left, like the sun setting in the west. Soon, the top 3 of the 99 groups, excluding the group of death, were all decided. A total of 297 places in the main competition. 297 young geniuses had obtained the ticket to enter the main competition. Perhaps, among these 297 people, there would be an all-powerful hero whose name would shake the mountains and rivers in the future. The group of death. The top 6 contestants all stood up. "Brother Xiao, it's the last round, I hope we can all be lucky." Mo Qingtong smiled charmingly. "Yes." Xiaofan nodded slightly. Now, the 6 people were very nervous. No one wanted to make a mistake in the last step, and cause a complete loss. On the void viewing platform, all the powerful experts and old antiques also stood up. Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the Heaven's Devil Old Man also stood up. "It's about to end." The Heaven's Devil Old Man smiled. "This is probably the most intense qualifier I've ever seen. There's nothing else like it. Especially the group of death, it's brilliant. The young people are all very outstanding, comparable to some of the unranked devil heroes. Alright, everyone, the last 3 places in the main competition will be decided from the 6 contestants in the group of death. Just now, this old man has already communicated with the invigilators of the other regions. The East region, North region, and West region, all the places in the main competition have been decided. Only our South region's last 3 places are left. And our side is almost there." The bald old man smiled as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. "Yes, let's start drawing lots." The entire place was silent. Even a pin drop could be heard. The group of death, 6-3. The first match, Beacon Empire's Cloud Sect's Xiaohan vs Blazing Sun Empire's Sun God Palace's Sun Emperor's first disciple, Huolai. The second match, Dark Shadow Empire's Sky Demon Sect's Mo Qingtong vs Black Dragon Country's Iron Spear Sect's Feng Wushan. The third match, Blazing Sun Empire's Giant Sword Sect's Zhu Hu vs Beacon Empire's 8 Wind Palace's Tu Xiong. On the void viewing platform. Ha ha ha. The Heaven's Devil Old Man was completely relaxed, shaking his head and laughing. Qingtong has gotten a place in the main competition. In fact, before this old man thought that Qingtong would be able to get first place in the group of death, but who would have thought that there would be dark horses like Xiaohan and little fatty Zhu. Now, to be able to get a place in the main competition, this old man is satisfied. After all, Qingtong is still a bit young, she still needs to be polished and trained. Zhu Ganglai was also jumping around. "My fatty has gotten a place in the main competition." Xiao Mingchu. The Sun Emperor's face was extremely serious. "Looks like our bet will be revealed today. My disciple Huolai will definitely kill Xiaohan. Those who fall into the Demon Dao will be doomed eternally. Whether or not to fall into the Demon Dao is not up to you, the Sun Emperor." Xiao Mingqiu retorted. I have faith in junior brother Xiaohan. Do you think that only Xiaohan has a trump card? Don't look down on Huolai. Let's wait and see. The Sun Emperor snorted coldly and said no more. Xiaohan, let's fight on the stage. You think you are a genius, but today, you will be stepped on by me, the Crown Prince Huolai. Crown Prince Huolai turned into a blazing sun and shot into the stage. The whole stage was bathed in golden light, the sun was shining brightly, it suddenly became sacred, and there was chanting and chanting. Huh! Crown Prince Huolai, I never thought that my last opponent would be you. Good, just as I wished. Xiaohan turned into a sharp blade light and shot into the stage. Chapter 156. The first match of the death group was between Xiaohan and Crown Prince Huolai. Because of the two remaining matches, the disparity between the strong and the weak was too obvious. Mo Qingtong and Fatty Zhu each had a place in the main competition. Therefore, everyone's attention was focused on the battle between Xiaohan and Crown Prince Huolai. This battle could be said to be the highlight of this year's Southern Region qualifiers. In the arena, Crown Prince Huolai was dressed in white. Every step he took caused lava to boil and volcanoes to erupt. His eyebrows were like swords, and his eyes were filled with arrogance and conceit. He looked down on everything. A golden light appeared in the depths of Xiao Chen's eyes. A blazing sun slowly rose from the top of his head, radiating sunlight everywhere. A three-legged golden crow lay quietly in the blazing sun, its aura as deep as the sea. All 42 true acupoints went berserk, and every single one of them was like a volcano that could destroy the world. Crown Prince Huolai stood there amidst the boundless flames. His true energy seemed to have been tempered and strengthened. Each strand of true energy was constantly being reformed within the flames. The shape and quality of his true energy were becoming more and more perfect. Crown Prince Huolai's entire body emanated an aura of perfection, as if there were no flaws or weaknesses to be found. Xiaohan quietly stood in front of Crown Prince Huolai. His undying golden body surged with golden light, and the word treasure and runes revolved around him. Xiaohan's strong flesh shell allowed him to stand steadily on the arena that was already filled with flames. He would not be harmed. Xiaohan, in the end, you still fell into my hands. Crown Prince Huolai was overbearing as he stared at Xiaohan. I, Huolai, am a heaven-warping genius. In this life, I must become a demon hero. No one can stop me. Whoever dares to stop me, I will destroy them. Once I get rid of you, I'll be able to participate in the main competition. I'm really looking forward to it. Xiaohan was as calm as still water, but his eyes were filled with an uncontrollable battle intent. You and your master are both so annoying. Yi Zichen said. In the auditorium. Many of the audience were also discussing fervently, what do you all think of this battle? If Xiaohan could defeat Xiaofan, wouldn't Crown Prince Huolai be tortured to death by him? Ha! I don't think so. Crown Prince Huolai had 42 true acupoints opened in his body, and his true qi was at the 5th level. Throughout the history of the southern region, it was rare to see someone in their early 20s at the 5th stage of true qi. In terms of cultivation, Crown Prince Huolai could be said to be the strongest in this southern region qualifier. Furthermore, he was the disciple of the Great Sun Emperor and cultivated the Great Sun Heart Sutra. Do not underestimate Crown Prince Huolai. Before this, Crown Prince Huolai had not met any experts. Along the way, he won easily, causing others to misjudge and think that Crown Prince Huolai's battle strength is ordinary. In reality, they are completely wrong. Yes, Xiaohan's true qi is at the 3rd level, while Prince Huolai's true qi is at the 5th level. The gap between the two is not small. Moreover, Xiaohan had risked his life to carve out a bloody path, so he had consumed a lot of energy. Especially after defeating Xiaofang's saber attack, his mental energy was almost drained, and his saber intent was exhausted. As for Crown Prince Wuxia, he waited patiently. It was impossible for this battle to be one-sided. In fact, Crown Prince Wuxia might even gain the upper hand. In the seats of the Pure Cloud sect. Junior brother Fong Ling, what do you think? Dongfang Qin asked. Wuxia reminds me of the great son of heaven when he was young. In time, Wuxia will be another great son of heaven, showing off his abilities and commanding the world. But now that he met junior brother Xiaofan, when two tigers fight, one will definitely be injured. Fong Ling frowned. At least, junior brother Xiaofan still has the demon race's secret technique as his trump card. Therefore, no one dares to say that they can win against junior brother Xiaofan. On the void viewing platform, the great son of heaven's expression was nervous and resentful. He was burning with hatred, and his eyes were like the scorching sun. Hateful. This Xiaofan, although he had a fortuitous encounter 2 years ago, he was just an ant, a small aphid, not even comparable to dregs. I can kill hundreds or thousands of him with a flip of my palm. But now, he is actually on par with Wuxia. Great son, we can't let this kid grow any further. The Dragon Bone Saint Saber said with deep meaning. All along, the number and quality of the demon heroes of our Blazing Sun Empire has been able to suppress the Fire Beacon Empire. We can't lose to the younger generation. Don't worry, my disciple Wuxia will torture Xiaofan to death. The great son of heaven nodded heavily. On the stage, Xiaofan, you have learned a lot, but it is mixed and impure. Today, I will let you see what true power is. Crown Prince Wuxia laughed sinisterly and suddenly attacked. Great Sun Heart Sutra, Great Sun God Fist. Boom, a fist the size of a few mu directly hammered down towards Xiaofan. This fist was shining with golden light, as if it was sculpted from the sun. There were many talisman characters and pictures engraved on it. It was grand and magnificent, and it was surrounded by flames. This fist seemed to be able to communicate with the world of flames. Its power was like the roar of a demon god, suppressing everything under the heavens. Pooh! 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 The 42 acupoints on Crown Prince Wuxia's body spewed out lava at the same time. The stage shook, and all the airflow was ignited. Right now, those with slightly weaker cultivation, even if they stood on the stage, would instantly be melted into steam, not to mention blocking Crown Prince Wuxia's attack. Even an opponent at the 4th level of true Qi could not withstand the temperature of the stage. Xiaofan was at the 3rd level of true Qi. Logically speaking, he should have been instantly melted. But his flesh was too strong, and his indestructible golden body had been trained to an extremely high level. Thus, he remained calm. With just this bit of ability, you want to suppress me? Xiaofan's heart slightly moved. Xiao, a strand of supreme saber intent condensed into a 2-zhang long saber light. It cut through the void, destroying the heavens and the earth, and directly chopped towards the golden fist. Pooh, the middle stage saber intent was indeed unstoppable. With just a slight cut, the golden fist was sliced into pieces. Everything collapsed. The saber intent did not weaken, and directly crushed towards Crown Prince Wuxia. The saber intent continuously spewed out unparalleled saber energy. The surrounding flames and sunlight were continuously disintegrated. Wherever the saber light passed, a whirlpool would appear, producing a suction force that completely absorbed the flames. This caused the saber light to gradually transform into a flaming saber. Xiao, the saber intent cut towards Crown Prince Wuxia. Xiaofan began his counterattack. However, the saber intent that could reach 10 times the speed of sound in the air, under the dense flames and sunlight of the stage, was actually met with great resistance, and its speed was greatly reduced. Moreover, Xiaofan's mental power had yet to recover, causing the power of this saber intent to be unable to reach its peak state. It was somewhat weakened. Ha 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 ha. Crown Prince Hualai's right hand grabbed the saber intent. Puchi. This strand of saber intent was crushed by him. There are 3,000 great Daos. You think that just because you have comprehended saber intent or sword intent, you are invincible? Ridiculous. My Great Sun Heart Sutra is a peerless godly technique that Master found in an ancient ruin. Destroying saber intent and sword intent is nothing difficult. All of Crown Prince Hualai's true meridians began to move. Every true meridian spewed out endless magma. Above his head, a flame monarch's shadow appeared, ruling over the world of flames and descending upon the world of flames. Xiaofan. It's over. Suddenly, within the blazing sun above Crown Prince Hualai's head, the three-legged golden crow opened its eyes and let out a cry. With a flap of its wings, it flew out from the blazing sun and flew towards Xiaofan. This three-legged golden crow's body instantly expanded to 12 acres in size. Its entire body shone with a dazzling light, even exceeding the brilliance of the sun. The heavens and earth were swept up by waves of fire and sunlight, and the pressure was overwhelming. Numerous deities appeared, put their palms together, and chanted Sanskrit. Boundless flames were burning, volcanoes were erupting, and magma was wreaking havoc. There was also the sunlight that could deliver all living things from suffering, exploding everywhere. Even the sea could be evaporated in an instant. Crown Prince Hualai was born with a fire attribute physique, and was able to display the Great Sun Heart Sutra to its fullest. Wherever the three-legged golden crow passed, the entire space would emit crackling sounds, causing cracks to spread everywhere. This move was so terrifying. In the spectator stands, there were cries of shock. Crown Prince Hualai truly lives up to his reputation. This move is too tyrannical, it has the power to destroy the world. This is the suppression of realms and true qi, causing Xiaofan to be at a disadvantage. The Great Sun Heart Sutra is indeed powerful. Once Crown Prince Hualai reaches the 6th level true qi, he will start expanding his meridians, and his attack power will increase crazily. On the stage. This is your strongest attack. Break for me. Xiaofan's will was as hard as a boulder, immortal and indestructible. Facing Crown Prince Hualai's fierce attack, his heart was like still water, unperturbed and calm. Hong, first, the 30 true meridians in Xiaofan's body released a cold icy light. A 10-zhang long hornless dragon scuttled out from Xiaofan's body, spewing out icy cold air, causing the ice crystals on the stage to fall. This hornless dragon profound ice true qi lowered the temperature of the stage. Although the hornless dragon was quickly melted by the three-legged golden crow, it also consumed a bit of the three-legged golden crow's power. Xiaofan did not hesitate to exhaust his hornless dragon profound ice true qi in order to lower the three-legged golden crow's destructive power. Next, Xiaofan's flesh shook, causing the heavens and earth to collapse. His 800,000 cauldrons of flesh was released. Destroy. My flesh is boundlessly tyrannical, as deep as the ocean, surging like the tide, breaking all techniques. I don't care what Great Sun Heart Sutra you are, I will destroy them all. Xiaofan leapt out and punched the three-legged golden crow. The power of this punch was like 1,000,000 volcanoes erupting at the same time, stars falling to the ground, and wild beasts reviving. This punch caused Xiaofan to surge with a crazy confidence that the heavens and earth were in his grasp. As he punched out, a destructive storm of energy gushed out from Xiaofan's fist. Peng, the three-legged golden crow was stuck in the air by Xiaofan's punch, spasming non-stop. Furthermore, Xiaofan's body was surging with golden light, causing the three-legged golden crow's power to be reflected by 20%. In the next moment, the three-legged golden crow actually began to disintegrate and disintegrate. In the audience, Xiaofan's flesh is as powerful as the ocean. Too powerful. A single punch destroyed Crown Prince Hualai's attack. With this flesh, Tearing apart a great wand with his bare hands is like playing with a toy. On the stage. Good. 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 Crown Prince Huolai shouted good 3 times, flesh and body tempering technique, both are not bad. This forced this Crown Prince to use my ultimate move. Ha 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 ha. Alright, Xiaofan, this Crown Prince has never used this move before. Now, I will use it on you and let you die a worthy death. In the next moment, Hong, the 3-legged golden crow shattered into countless golden fragments that were all absorbed by Crown Prince Huolai's body. Following that, the blazing sun above Crown Prince Huolai's head also shattered, turning into rays of golden light that flowed into Crown Prince Huolai's body. Crown Prince Huolai's aura began to rise. It was unstoppable. His body also began to grow inch by inch. A layer of golden light began to appear on the surface of his skin. It was dazzling, making him look like a golden Buddha. Hong. Crown Prince Huolai's aura doubled. Hong. Crown Prince Huolai's aura doubled. Hong. Crown Prince Huolai's aura tripled. What? Crown Prince Huolai's strength and quality of his true qi doubled. What kind of godly technique is this? If it continues to grow like this, how strong will it be? The spectators were all boiling up. Void viewing platform. Great Sun 9 Heavens. Great Sun Heart Sutra's ultimate move. Great Sun Son of Heaven laughed steadily. Attack power increased by 9 times. Just a mere Xiaofan, I can pinch him however I want and abuse him however I want. Oh. So it's this move? Powerful. Great Sun, this Great Sun 9 Heavens caused Huolai's 42 true meridians to burn all the Great Sun's true qi, instantly increasing his attack power and aura by 9 times. It was almost enough to sweep away anyone in the realm of 5th level true qi. Of course, he would be extremely exhausted after this and would need a long time to recover. Dragon Bone Saint Blade nodded. And, when the time comes, let Huolai consume some treasured medicine to recover. Great Sun Son of Heaven's wisdom was in his grasp. Sect leader, Huolai, this kid actually learned Great Sun 9 Heavens. Xiao Mingchu's pupils shrunk. This is the last move of the Great Sun Heart Sutra. I have personally witnessed Great Sun Son of Heaven burning his true qi, increasing his battle power by 9 times and killing a demon emperor. Could it be that senior brother Xiaofan is going to be defeated in the last battle? Let's wait and see. Crow's face tensed up. On the stage. Oh. Increase in aura and attack power? You want to go all out? Fine, I will play with you. Xiaofan was not afraid, sticking out his tongue and licking his lips. The next moment, ho! Activating the Emperor's true qi, a 10-zhang-long true dragon flew out. The Emperor's aura could topple the mountains and overturn the seas. Next. Puqi. The true dragon combusted. It turned into a dazzling pillar of light, rolling into Xiaofan's body. Xiaofan's aura instantly increased. Xiaofan's true qi royal robe, the sun, moon and stars, the mountains and rivers, all rolled continuously, his aura rising steadily. He pointed at the sky and stomped on the ground, his battle intent surging. His entire body radiated a destructive, unstoppable, terrifying power. With a slight movement of his body, ghosts and gods would be destroyed. Xiaofan's aura and true qi quality, true qi strength, also increased by 2 times. 2 times. 2 times. 3 times. The Emperor is furious. Igniting the Emperor's true qi, I have 30 true meridians, increasing my true qi strength and aura by 30 times. What? Xiaofan's strength and aura are also increasing crazily. Heavens! These two are going all out. Amazing. Too amazing. Peerless Tang Sect's latest chapter. Chapter 157. Xiaofan and Crown Prince Wuxia both ignited their own qi, using it to increase their battle strength. Crown Prince Wuxia's Great Sun Nine Heavens ignited all the Great Sun Qi stored in his 42 acupoints, increasing his battle strength by 9 times. Divine light like the sea. Xiaohan's dragon face was furious. He ignited all the Emperor's Qi stored in 30 acupoints, increasing his battle strength by 30 times. His aura was like that of a tyrant. When the Emperor was angry, the mountains and rivers turned into ashes, everything turned into powder. In an instant, the entire stage was like a raging storm. Majestic mountains and rivers. Magnificent waves. Majestic aura. The entire audience was silent. Void viewing platform. This article is from Xiaofan. This kid actually knows how to burn his true qi to increase his battle prowess. The confident expression on the face of the Emperor of the Great Sun froze in an instant and died in the womb. His voice also trembled slightly. Great Sun, don't be impatient. The Dragon Bone Saint Blade trembled. Wuxia's qi is at the 5th level, Xiaohan's qi is at the 3rd level. Both ignited their qi, but the quality of Wuxia's qi is 2 levels higher than Xiaohan's. Moreover, the Great Sun Qi is not something ordinary qi can compare with. Sect leader. Junior brother Xiaofan ignited all of his Emperor's qi, increasing his battle strength. Xiao Ming-Chu's eyes shone brightly. Junior brother Xiaohan's aura is too strong, shaking the heavens and earth, unparalleled. TSK. This fellow has too many trump cards. The heavenly devil old man shook his head at the side. Alright, Xiaofan will definitely win this round. Wuxia calmly picked up a cup of fragrant tea from the table and started to savor it. On the stage, Xiaofan and Crown Prince Wuxia had already ignited all their qi. Both of them were wrapped in golden light, looking like ancient golden giants. Their aura was so strong that it could swallow everything, dominating the wilderness. Above the arena, an illusory image of a blazing sun appeared, standing tall against the illusory image of the Son of Heaven, standing as equals. Xiaofan. Crown Prince Wuxia's voice was as powerful as an ancient demon. To think that you also ignited all of your qi. But it's useless. I am at the 5th level, you are at the 3rd level. The gap between us is enough for me to crush you. Trash. Dong dong dong, Crown Prince Wuxia stomped on the ground as he walked towards Xiaofan. He wanted to crush Xiaofan. Humph. So what if you're at the 5th stage of true qi? So what if the quality of your Zhenqi is better than mine? When I burn the Emperor's origin true qi, it's several times more powerful than burning the Spirit Turtle's true qi and the Hornless Dragon's profound ice true qi. Moreover, with a 30 times increase in true qi strength, I don't believe I can't smash you to death. Xiaofan fearlessly walked towards Crown Prince Wuxia. Both of their auras were raised to the peak. Moreover, they didn't want to use other methods to kill each other. They wanted to use pure violence to crush each other. Only then could they vent their hatred. In the auditorium. My God. This was like a duel between 2 primordial giants. Both of their powers are unimaginably terrifying. I'm afraid even the arena will be destroyed by them. They're going to fight. Finally. Xiaofan and the Great Sun Emperor were already nearing. Xiaofan. Go to hell. This Crown Prince will crush you into dust. Crown Prince Wuxia's eyes were about to pop out as he roared. Wuxia, today I will make sure you die without a complete corpse. Xiaohan's aura pierced through the heavens and earth. Pung. Pung. Both of their fists collided. It was actually a collision without any fancy moves. Using violence to curb violence. Hong, in an instant, their auras shook the heavens and earth. Violent energy soared into the sky. Even the air above the arena was destroyed. It was as if it was about to turn into chaos. Pung! Pung! Both of their fists collided again. Mushroom clouds exploded in all directions. In this kind of situation, any normal martial artist who entered the arena rashly would be crushed to pieces. Xiaofan ignited the Emperor's true qi to increase his true qi strength by 30 times. With the addition of the Emperor's aura, his power was actually a level higher than the pure physical strength. However, this kind of attack could not be sustained for long. He had to end this battle quickly. Die for me. Xiaofan didn't delay any longer. Both of his fists hammered out continuously. Every punch landed on Crown Prince Huolai's body. Crown Prince Huolai seemed to have gone crazy. He kept on attacking Xiaofan. The two of them were like ruffians fighting in the marketplace. They tangled together and attacked each other violently. Their fight caused the stars to tremble. Endless air currents flowed in all directions. Even the void kept on collapsing. The sound of fists hitting flesh caused people's hearts to palpitate. The earth seemed to be sinking. The heavens seemed to be collapsing. The entire audience stood up. Their legs went soft as they looked at the primitive and barbaric scene on the arena. Even the old-timers and almighty experts in the spectator stands were rooted to the ground, their eyes fixed on the scene. After the two of them had punched each other hundreds of times, they seemed to be exhausted. Or maybe it was because their true qi had been completely burnt. The aura of both of them started to weaken bit by bit and gradually returned to normal. The two of them retreated, and retreated again. After retreating 10 steps, they stopped. The arena was completely silent. The audience was as silent as a graveyard. Everyone was rubbing their eyes, wanting to see the result of the battle. Is it over? Who won? I can't seem to tell, it seems to be a draw. No one gained the upper hand. On the arena. Xiaofan. Crown Prince Huolai's face was cold. His whole body was covered in sweat. After burning his great son true qi, he was completely exhausted and on the verge of collapse. You are only a so-so. Just you alone cannot defeat this Crown Prince. This Crown Prince will be an all-powerful hero in the future. My name will shake the mountains and rivers. Sooner or later, I will crush an ant like you. Xiaofan laughed involuntarily and shook his head. Fellow powerful existences, it is a draw. Crown Prince Huolai raised his head and looked at the viewing platform. Xiaofan cannot defeat me, Huolai. However, at this moment, between Crown Prince Huolai's brows that were white, translucent, and lustrous like jade, a hairline crack had suddenly appeared. Crown Prince Huolai's face stiffened. His domineering and disdainful eyes suddenly became dull and lifeless. Immediately after, a hair-like crack appeared on Huolai's white chest. In an instant, on Huolai's face, his body, his hands, his feet, his back, densely packed and crisscrossed cracks appeared. It caused his entire body to look like a delicate porcelain that had been shattered. It was a ghastly sight. This is, what is going on? Crown Prince Huolai's face revealed an expression of extreme confusion and fear. Alright, shatter. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Xiaofan shook his head, turned around and slowly left the stage. The entire place was as quiet as a ghost town. Hundreds of thousands of pairs of eyes unwaveringly stared at Huolai. Pucci. Finally, on Huolai's left shoulder, a few cracks spread and gathered together. It directly broke a large piece of skin, muscles and bones. A handful of powder scattered, Pucci. 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 Cracks continuously appeared on Huolai's body. His entire body was immediately filled with potholes and densely packed hair-like cracks. They started to expand and break apart. Master. Disciple seems to have died. No. Disciple cannot die. Disciple must become. Bang! Before he could finish his sentence, Wuxia's entire body finally exploded and turned into a handful of powder that drifted with the wind. Not even his bones remained. It turned out that after exchanging hundreds of punches, every punch that Wuxia landed on Xiaofan would be reflected back by Xiaofan's indestructible golden body by 20%, injuring himself. After a few hundred punches, Wuxia's flesh shell was already broken into pieces. His life was completely extinguished. When the wind blew, his entire body collapsed. He actually died from being crushed alive. Void viewing platform. Wuxia, disciple Wuxia. Great Sun Emperor suddenly stood up. His eyes were spewing blood as he growled in a low voice. He was like an enraged beast that wanted to eat someone. His voice was like the mournful cry of the cuckoo's blood-crying apes. My beloved disciple Wuxia. Roar. Xiaofan. Xiaofan. You will die a horrible death. I will definitely skin you alive and pull out your tendons. Die. In this world, there is no place for you to hide anymore. We cannot live under the same sky. This hatred cannot be washed away even with the water of 3 rivers and 5 lakes. The bald old man also stood up and said indifferently. Enough, Great Sun Emperor, don't lose your composure. The winner will be the king in the arena. Although Wuxia is enchanting, he is still not Xiaofan's match. He is just not as skilled. I also feel that it is a pity. However, these are the rules of the game. Back then, you, Great Sun Emperor, stood out from the preliminaries and entered the main competition. You also killed many geniuses of the same generation. A general success is built on the bones of 10,000 people. Enough, if you have any dissatisfaction, leave quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for banishing you. The bald old man was an old antique of the southern mountain range. He was an experienced demon hero. His cultivation level and battle strength were unfathomable. He was a legendary figure himself. Thus, he did not need to give any face to the Great Sun Crown Prince. Xiaofan, this person, knows the secrets of the demon race and has fallen into the demon Tao. Great Sun Emperor bared his teeth. Whether Xiaofan has fallen into the demon Tao or not, it is not up to you, Great Sun Emperor, to judge. The bald old man's face was cold. Great Sun, let's go. The dragon bone Saint Blade grabbed hold of Great Sun Emperor, who had lost his composure. It is not too late to take revenge later. The two turned into streams of light and escaped. Before leaving, Great Sun Emperor looked deeply at Wu Yu. The hatred in his eyes was indescribable. Mingjian Peak Shiman Piaoxue also left. And Beacon Fire Empire Emperor Mo Chen left with a face full of hatred. Before he left, he looked at Xiaofan from afar. In his eyes, there were all kinds of plots and revenge brewing. Sovereign, it seems that junior brother Xiaofan has offended many people this time. Huh. Xiao Mingchu laughed. No worries. When Xiaofan becomes a demon hero, there will be endless excitement and even greater opportunities. At that time, these clowns in front of us will not be a problem. In life, there is always gratitude and revenge. Who doesn't have a few enemies? In Wu Yu's eyes, some of the heroic spirit of the past was reignited. The last 2 matches of the group of death began one by one. Mo Qingtong and Fatty Zhu won without any suspense. They got a place in the main competition. At this point, this year's Demon Hero preliminaries, the 300 places in the Southern Mountain Range preliminaries were all decided. Chapter 158. After a fierce competition and all kinds of ups and downs, the Southern Region qualifier, known as the cruelest hex trial in history, finally came to an end. All 300 places had been decided. Some were happy and some were sad. In the void, A high and hoarse voice of an old man came from the edge of a cliff. Everyone, this year's Hex Trial, our Southern Region qualifier, has come to an end. I would like to congratulate the 300 enchanters who have entered the main stage. From today onwards, you will be the best of the younger generation in the Southern Region, representing the entire Southern Region and embarking on a journey of passion and legend. To participate in the main competition. The main competition held in the Central Region Hex Region. At that time, you will face thousands of geniuses from the Eastern Region, the Western Region, the Northern Region, and the Great Wilderness. This old man wishes you a great victory in advance. Very well, for the next 5 days, I invite the 300 enchanting beauties to rest at Sunset Mountain. 5 days later, I will personally take you to the Hex Region. During this period, please do not go down the mountain to avoid any changes. You may leave. Boss Xiao, congratulations, congratulations, Miss Mo, congratulations, congratulations. Fatty Zhu bowed to Xiaofan and Mo Qingtong. He had the face of an insignificant person. Enough, damn Fatty, stop pretending. Mo Qingtong scolded. Put away your pretense. If you want to pretend, then slowly pretend in the main competition. Don't do this in front of us. Ha 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 ha, Fatty Zhu shamelessly laughed along with him. Brother Zhu, same to you. Xiaofan smiled. Then, Xiaofan coughed and spat out a small mouthful of blood. Just now, Xiaofan and Prince Huolai fought. Although Prince Huolai was crushed alive. However, Xiaofan had also suffered serious injuries. He needed a few days to recuperate to recover to his best state. Brother Xiao, are you okay? Mo Qingtong frowned. I'm fine, I'll be fine after a few days of rest. Xiaofan shook his head slightly. Such a serious injury, he'll be fine after a few days of rest? Mo Qingtong looked at Xiaofan suspiciously, but Brother Xiao, you really are a beast in human form. The strength of your flesh shell is no less than that of the Great Wilderness. I hope after 5 days. If Brother Xiao can recover, it will not affect the main competition. It was said that the death rate in the main competition this time was very high. In fact, obtaining a spot in the main competition isn't that big of a deal. The most important thing is the entire process of the main competition. Boss Xiao, once we enter the main competition, you have to take care of and guide Fatty. Fatty Zhu rubbed his hands and said. Brother Xiao, the 3 of us can form a small group. They were of the same breath and branch. In this way, the chances of surviving in the main competition are much higher than fighting alone. Mo Qingtong looked at Xiaofan with a serious face, her black and white demonic eyes clearly defined. It flickered with a seductive light. We'll talk about it when the time comes, Xiaofan said noncommittally. Alright, then let's disperse. Mo Qingtong smiled sweetly. In the void viewing platform. Everyone, please disperse. Disciples and juniors participating in the main competition could stay at Sunset Mountain for 5 days. 5 days later, this old man will personally arrange for 300 enchantresses to participate in the main competition, the bald old man said. This qualifier is really exciting. It's a pity that a few of my disciples were all eliminated, none of them were spared. But to be honest, with their strength, even if they entered the main competition, it would be very difficult for them to survive. I wonder how many of the 300 will survive in the end. Since ancient times, the devil hero qualifier has been very cruel. But once they become a devil hero, their future is limitless, and they will forever be separated from ordinary warriors. Alright, don't worry about them. Let's find a place to watch the main competition in 5 days. Many of the old antiques and powerful figures in the void viewing platform discussed among themselves as they left. Brother Wu, I'll go find my disciple Qingtong first. Oh yes, besides young Xiaohan, your Pure Cloud sect also has a female disciple who also obtained a spot in the main competition. It's really good news. The heavenly demon old man was also beaming. Then, heavenly demon old man, we'll take our leave now. Wu Yu and Xiao Mingchu stood up together. At this moment, Wu Yu glanced around and said loudly, Old man Gong's son, wait up. He walked directly towards the Valley Lord of the Medicine Masters, Old man Gong's son, whose face was covered in dirt. Sect leader Wu, what do you want? Old man Gong's son was stunned. When Crown Prince Emotion fought Xiaofan, he had used the secret treasure of the Valley of the Medicine Masters, the ancient Medicine King longevity pill, which had almost destroyed Xiaofan. Now, when Wu Yu called out to him, Old man Gong's son immediately felt uneasy, afraid that Wu Yu would find trouble with him. He hurriedly tried to explain. Sect leader Wu, the top disciple of the Valley of the Medicine Master's younger generation, Si Kongji, was eliminated by Xiaofan. You, what else do you want? Ha! Wu Yu laughed lightly and walked over. Old man Gong's son, don't be in such a hurry to leave. I say. Sect leader Wu, what do you want? That Medicine King longevity pill was indeed given to the Beacon Fire Empire royal family by me, but I did not know that Crown Prince Emotion would use it against Xiaofan. Moreover, Crown Prince Emotion has already died at the hands of Xiaofan. Sect leader Wu, don't be so overbearing and bully us too much. If you push us too far, the Valley of the Medicine Masters is not afraid of your pure cloud sect. Old man Gong's son shouted. Ha ha ha. Old man Gong's son, I will not pursue this matter anymore. Wu Yu laughed. The youth of my pure cloud sect, Xiaofan, is an unparalleled demon. He has overcome all obstacles and is invincible. You have seen this with your own eyes. Then, let's bring up the past again. Xiaofan should be worthy of the two female outer sect disciples of the Medicine Master's Valley, Lan Shirong and Jing Yanxue, right? Old man Gong's son, what do you say? Valley leader Gong's son, a wise man submits to circumstances, Xiao Mingchu said with a smile. The alliance between the Valley of the Medicine Masters and the Beacon Fire Empire royal family is undoubtedly to seek protection. However, Valley leader Gong's son is also a wise man. I would like to ask, since the founding of the Beacon Fire Empire, has there ever been a demon like Xiaofan? This. Old man Gong's son was speechless. Xiao Mingchu continued. With my junior brother Xiaofan's potential, it is not impossible for him to pass this year's monster hero selection and become a monster hero. In the future, he may be able to shake the heavens and earth, sweeping through the sun, moon, and heaven and earth. His name will completely shake the mountains and rivers. Valley leader Gong's son, the world is unpredictable. None of us can predict what will happen in the future. But sometimes, when you see a slight clue, you must place your bet. You see, is my junior brother Xiaofan worth your bet? Also, I would like to remind Valley leader Gong's son that in the true martial continent, there are no empires or sects that will never fall. When you reach the peak of your prosperity, you will definitely fall. As the saying goes, the affairs of the world are hard to predict. Fortune and disaster can be decided by a single thought. Perhaps the destruction of the Valley of the Medicine Masters in the future will be because of an insignificant matter that inadvertently planted the seeds of disaster. For example, Valley leader Gong's son, you should understand what I mean, right? Xiao Mingchu, you dare to threaten me, this. Old man Gong's son's eyes darted around. After thinking for a while, he finally gritted his teeth. Forget it. Sect leader Wu, Xiao Mingchu, Lan Shirong, and Jing Yanxue, I will temporarily let them stay in the Valley of the Medicine Masters. I will not marry them easily. However, everything will have to wait until Xiaofan becomes a monster hero. Although he is a shocking talent, he may still die in the competition. If he survives, we will discuss this again. Alright, Wu Yu nodded. All in all, old man Gong's son, those two outer female disciples must be Xiaofan's wives and concubines. If you dare to rashly marry them off, then the Pure Cloud sect will not hesitate to declare war on the Valley of the Medicine Masters. Enough. Don't threaten me anymore. I know what I'm doing. Old Man Gong's son said submissively. However, his words were tough on the outside but weak on the inside. It was obvious that he had compromised. Also, that female disciple of mine, Xiaofan, consumed a precious medicine that overdrew her life to forcefully increase her battle power. She only has 10 years left to live. Old Man Gong's son, your Valley of the Medicine Masters should have good medicine to cure her, right? Wu Yu's eyes shifted. I really don't have that for the time being. Old Man Gong's son shrugged. Sect leader Wu, Xiao Mingchu, both of you have a good ranking on the monster hero ranking list. You have the authority to enter some ancient countries and mystic realms. I believe that you can find the medicine to save that woman. Don't have any ideas about the Valley of the Medicine Masters, I am helpless. Forget it, I will find a good plan for this matter. I can't let Xiaofan die like this. Wu Yu whispered. Then, I will take my leave. Old Man Gong's son cupped his hands and left dejectedly. Sect leader, let's return to the palace. I can't wait to congratulate junior brother Xiaofan and junior sister Xiaofan. Ha ha ha. Xiao Mingchu yawned. Let's go. Wu Yu smiled faintly. Sunset Mountain. In the palace area of the Pure Cloud sect. In the huge garden. A large group of true disciples of the Pure Cloud sect, led by Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling, surrounded Xiaohan and Huo Wu like stars surrounding the moon. Ha ha ha. Junior brother Xiaohan, you are really something. You fought so fiercely in this preliminaries, it was so exciting. He had gained prestige from the battle. Raise the prestige of our Pure Rain sect. Now, the number one genius of the southern region is definitely you. Dongfang Qin beamed with joy and patted Xiaohan's shoulder. Junior brother Xiaohan, your name has shaken the mountains and rivers, and your aura has spread throughout the 9 provinces. Your limelight is unparalleled. Fang Ling nodded repeatedly. Xiaohan, have a good rest in these 5 days. The official competition would be even more difficult. When the time comes, you will encounter even more geniuses. Seriously speaking, at least the younger generation of the eastern region and the Great Wilderness was of a higher quality than the southern region. There were also the heaven-defying talents cultivated by the old antiques of the Devil Hero region. In short, we can't let down our guard. My 2 brothers, I understand, Xiaohan said seriously. He didn't have the slightest hint of self-deprecation. There was no arrogance in his eyes. He was neither servile nor overbearing. He was very calm. Emerging from the group of death had sharpened Xiaohan's spirit and aura, allowing him to grow stronger. Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling both nodded with satisfaction. At this time, Xiaohan looked at Xiaofan. Originally a face of hibiscus stunningly beautiful to surpass all the beauties at this moment, the peerlessly elegant Hu Yang's face was covered in a layer of haggard and sorrowful complexion, looking delicate and pitiful. At first glance, it gave others the feeling that he had just recovered from a serious illness. Senior sister Hua, you. Xiaohan looked at Hualan for a few breaths, and finally asked. Why were you willing to take such a risk and take that precious medicine that overdraft your life's potential? Dongfang Qin and Fang Ling also looked at Xiaofan at the same time. To be continued. Chapter 159. Facing the curious and questioning gaze of Xiaohan and the others, Xiaofan's expression turned mournful. However, there seemed to be something difficult for her to say. She didn't answer immediately and smiled bitterly. Update, if I don't take that elixir, I definitely won't have any chance to win the preliminaries and obtain a spot in the main competition. After a pause, Xiaofan's eyes were filled with determination and determination. I must become a hero, even if I have to die. Senior martial sister Hua, is it really that important to you to become a hero? Xiaofan blurted out. At this moment, Xiaofan, you should have some secrets that are difficult to say. I won't force you to answer about this matter. However, you and Xiaofan are going to participate in the main competition. You are both disciples of Cloud Sect, you can take care of each other. Xiaofan, if you trust Xiaofan, why don't you tell him a thing or two? Wu Yu and Xiao Mingqiu returned. Sect Master, Big Senior Martial Brother. Everyone greeted them. Junior Martial Brother Xiaofan, Junior Martial Sister Xiaofan, congratulations. Xiao Mingqiu smiled and congratulated them. Xiaofan raised her head and looked at Wu Yu. Her expression changed slightly. She then quickly looked at Xiaofan and nodded secretly. Come, Xiaofan, Xiaofan, come with me. Wu Yu said indifferently. Yes. Wu ***, Xiaofan, and Huiyang strolled leisurely through the artificial mountains, ponds, and small bridges in the palace area. Xiaofan, you took the elixir that overdraft your life potential. You only have 10 years left to live. However, during the main competition, it won't affect your battle power. Wu Yu said indifferently with his hands behind his back. Since you have to sacrifice your life to enter the main competition, then cherish it. As for the antidote to replenish your life force, I will find a way to find it for you. Hua Wu's body trembled. Thank you, Sect Master, for taking care of me. Wu Yu said thoughtfully. Xiaofan, if possible, I hope you can take care of Xiaofan. After all, we are from the same sect, we can trust each other. Obviously, Crow also felt sorry for Hua Wu. I understand. Xiaofan said seriously. Thank you, Junior Martial Brother Xiaofan. Xiaofan suddenly bowed deeply. Senior Sister Hua, you don't have to be so polite, Xiaofan hurriedly said. The two of you are not allowed to go anywhere for the next 5 days. Stay in the palace and recuperate. Xiaofan, your injuries should be able to heal in a few days, right? Wu Yu walked to a pavilion and sat down leisurely. Xiaofan and Huigang stood on his left and right. Sure. Xiaofan nodded. Xiaofan, Xiaofan, according to the reliable information our sect has obtained, there will be 10,000 geniuses entering the main competition this time. The various regions and the Great Wilderness have already decided who will enter the main competition. Wu Yu looked into the distance, as if he was reminiscing. The mortality rate will be more than 90%. That is to say, out of 10,000 people, at most 1,000 people will eventually become vigilantes. Based on my sect's experience, it might not even be enough to control a few hundred people. But the qualifiers this time are very valuable, so these hundreds of evil heroes will be directly trained and put in important positions, and will be rewarded with abundant resources. 10,000 people, competing for a few hundred slots for evil hero, TSK. Xiaofan clicked his tongue. Furthermore, these 10,000 people are the cream of the crop who have passed through the preliminaries. They are the cream of the crop. It's going to be difficult. Well, that's what the Hex Hero preliminaries are all about, cold-blooded and cruel. Blackbird smiled faintly. You should understand that only the strongest of the human clan can shoulder the heavy responsibility of fighting against the demon clan. When the weak encountered the demon clan, not only could they not destroy the demon clan, but they would also become nourishment for the demon clan. They might even occupy their flesh shells and cause harm to the human world. Therefore, the Hex Hero tryouts must be strict. Survival of the fittest, survival of the fittest. You too, be smart. It was impossible for the 300 participants from the Southern Territory to be united. Instead, most of them would stab others in the back and step on others to advance. Therefore, you must be careful in choosing your allies. The Heaven's Devil Old Man and our sect have a friendship of life and death. Then, Mo Qingtong can become an ally that can gain your trust. The crow's eyes were filled with pure teachings. In the main competition, there are many variables. You must remember one thing, you must not be soft-hearted. The Hex Hero preliminaries were like thousands of people crossing a single log bridge. Whoever gave in would be smashed to pieces and doomed eternally. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to be ruthless. Xiaofan, you should learn from Xiaofan. This kid is more ruthless than anyone else when he's ruthless. Heh. I don't know if Sect Master is praising or insulting your disciple. Xiaofan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Xiaofan. The crow looked at Xiaofan seriously. Huh? Xiaofan was stunned. In the preliminaries, you always kept the demon clan's secret method as a trump card. That's good. However, after entering the main competition, there's no need to worry about life and death. Do you understand what I mean? Everything is for survival. You can do anything. The crow's eyes became sharp and penetrated everything. Disciple understands. Xiaofan nodded heavily. Good, I have said what I need to say. You two can talk. The crow stood up and left. Xiaofan looked at Xiaofan and said in a low voice, Senior Sister Hua, please sit. The two sat down. Xiaofan stared at Xiaofan. Junior brother Xiaofan. Huowu gritted her teeth. Junior brother Xiaofan must be wondering why I am willing to harm myself to become a demon warrior, right? If it's possible, Senior Sister Hua can tell me. Xiaofan said. Junior brother Xiaofan, I will only tell you. Please keep it a secret for me. Don't tell anyone else, including Sect Master. Xiaofan said seriously. Immediately, her face turned slightly red and she said in a low voice. This matter concerned some of Huowu's mother's privacy. This? Xiaofan was stunned, but quickly said seriously, I promise Senior Sister Hua. Xiaofan's beautiful eyes looked into the void, her face showing a look of reminiscence. Soon, strong resentment, hatred, and heartbreak appeared on her face. She said quietly. Junior brother Xiaofan, Xiaofan was born in a big martial arts family in Beacon Fire Empire. When Huiyang was 10 years old, his entire family was annihilated. Thousands of people died a violent death. Family destruction? Xiaofan was shocked. It was done by the demon race. 2 lines of tears fell from Xiaofan's eyes. This is indeed a tragedy in the human world. Xiaofan nodded his head in agreement. Therefore, Senior Martial Sister Hua is determined to become a demon hero and personally eradicate the demon clan to avenge your clan, right? This is only one of the reasons. Xiaofan's expression suddenly became extremely angry. Her shoulders slightly twitched because of her agitation. She stared at Xiaofan and said with a voice as soft as a mosquito. In the entire Hua family, only Xiaofan was lucky enough to escape. When Xiaofan returned to the family mansion, there were corpses everywhere. Every corpse had a big hole in their head. Their brains had been sucked dry. There was the smell of blood everywhere. It was like hell on earth. Xiaofan found my mother's body, but found that before she died, Xiaofan's expression changed. Mother was humiliated before she died. She was defiled. It was also done by the demon race? Xiaofan was shocked. Xiaofan shook her head lightly. At that time, father was still breathing. Before he breathed his last, father told Xiaofan with certainty that the one who defiled mother was definitely not a demon race, but a human. It was possible that the massacre of the entire Hua family was a deliberate crime committed by a heartless human, and purposely created the illusion that the demon race was annihilated. Of course, this was only father's guess before he died. Father did not see the appearance of the person who defiled mother with his own eyes. He only said that it was definitely not a demon race. Father told Xiaofan that this matter might involve a lot of people. Our Hua family has been passed down for dozens of generations. We once had a powerful demon warrior, but he died in battle. Although the family gradually declined, we still had a foundation. Ordinary people would not have the guts to commit such an evil act. It must be done by someone with a great background. Father warned Xiaofan that this matter must not be told to anyone. Otherwise, it would bring about the disaster of being killed. Moreover, this matter is not easy to investigate. Only after Xiaofan becomes a demon warrior, he can go to the demon warrior tower to issue a bounty and let other powerful demon warriors investigate. That is the best plan. Because this matter concerns Mother's innocence, Xiaofan has never mentioned this matter to anyone, including the sect master. Mother is extremely gentle and kind. Xiaofan does not want others to know that she was humiliated when she was alive. That would be a great disrespect. There's actually such an evil person? Annihilating a family, defiling a woman. This is simply insane. Too many to count. Xiaofan's eyes were also wide open. Senior Sister Hua, please rest assured. This little brother will not mention this matter to anyone. This little brother will do his best to help Senior Sister Hua become a demon warrior, so that Senior Sister Hua can thoroughly investigate this matter and find the true murderer. The two of them talked for a long time before returning to the palace area together. 4 days had passed. In these 4 days, Xiaofan had secluded himself to recuperate. He continuously studied the 61st to 70th movement of the indestructible golden body, causing his injured body to miraculously recover. Moreover, Xiaofan nourished his soul. His dispirited mental strength and saber intent had become vigorous. The various types of true qi consumed in the true acupoints were replenished with the highest grade true qi spirit stones. This caused the 30 true acupoints to be overflowing with light. The light was dense, making Xiaofan's body look like a treasure. Xiaofan's state had reached its peak. In the palace where the heavenly demon sect was located. Qingtong, in this time's demon warrior preliminaries, you are the only one from the heavenly demon sect to enter the main competition. The official competition is full of mishaps and misfortunes. You're alone and you lack support. The heavenly devil old man's eyes were filled with demonic qi as he spoke to Mo Qingtong. With your skills, there must be many people who want to rope you in and form an alliance with you. However, these people cannot be trusted. Only the youth of the Cloud sect, Xiaofan, can be trusted. Moreover, this youth Xiaofan is full of tricks and endless potential. He may be able to take charge in the future. Qingtong, cooperate with Xiaofan well. See him as your only ally. I hope you can work together to become a new generation of demon warriors. Qingtong understands. Mo Qingtong's eyes flickered. 5 days had passed. Xiaofan, Xiaofan. The Crow sect master gathered many people. Now, follow me to the peak. I will accompany you to the demon warrior region. Participate in the main competition. Yes. Xiaofan and Xiaofan nodded. Let's go together. Xiao Mingqiu stretched. Junior brother Xiaofan, you must be very nervous now, right? A little. Xiaofan licked his lips. Ha ha ha. It's okay. I was as nervous as you. Let's go. Xiao Mingqiu put his arm around Xiaofan's shoulder and walked out. Junior brother Xiaofan, from now on, you have to work hard. Remember, adapt to the situation. Fang Ling also reminded. In short, I believe that you can survive and become demon warriors. Dongfang Qin said seriously. A group of people filed out of the palace and rose to the peak under the leadership of the Crow sect master. They were going to the demon warrior region to participate in the main competition. To be continued. Chapter 160. Led by sect leader Wu De, the group of people from Lei Yun sect escorted Xiaohan and Hua De to the peak of the Sunset Mountain. At the peak, Several old antiques with auras as powerful as a sea, auspicious light restrained from their bodies, symbols condensed, were already waiting. That bald old man was especially terrifying. Just by standing there, he gave people the feeling that he was like an ancient ferocious beast. In the bald old man's eyes, blazing lights flashed, thunder mountains descended, lightning danced, divine sounds drifted, and all kinds of strange phenomena. It was as if he could shatter space with just a slight movement. This was an ancient giant. Xiaofan, that bald old man's surname is Duan. He is an antique from the southern region and is ranked high on the Fiend hero ranking. When he was young, he had a legendary experience and all kinds of deeds that could be written into books and talked about enthusiastically. Xiao Mingchu whispered in Xiaohan's ear. This time, old Duan will lead the 300 of you into the Fiend hero region to participate in the main competition. Of course, sect leader, and we will accompany you all the way. TSK, that old man is indeed as powerful as the sea. Even when he is talking, he gives people the feeling that he will turn into ashes. Xiaofan clicked his tongue. The bald old Duan and a few old antiques stood solemnly on one of the lotus leaves in the wrestling ring of the lotus platform at the peak of the mountain. A large group of people stood below the lotus platform battle arena. Xiaofan glanced and saw Xiao Yunrong, Mo Qingtong, Heavenly Demon Old Man, Fatty Zhu, and other familiar faces. That large group of people was no doubt the beauties of the southern region and their sect elders who were going to participate in the main competition. There were also many people gathered in the spectator seats around to watch the show. Xiaohan, Hua De, follow me. Wu De smiled faintly. He walked over with Xiaohan and the others. Boss Xiao. You're here. Fatty Zhu greeted with a drooling face. Behind Fatty Zhu, there was also a middle-aged fatty with an even wider body who had a smile on his face. Aha, big brother Wu, little brother Xiaohan. This? Xiaohan was stunned. Little Fatty Zhu's father, Zhu Genglai of the Blazing Sun Empire's giant sword sect. Wu De introduced casually. Hello, Senior Zhu Genglai. Xiaohan greeted. Not bad, not bad. You are indeed a dragon among men. He was the young hero of this generation in the southern region. Little fatty, compared to my nephew Xiaohan, you are still worlds apart. In the future, you should follow my nephew Xiaohan and hone your skills. I hope you'll improve. Zhu Genglai pretended to scold Fatty Zhu with a stern face. Yes, father. Xiaohan is my boss. Little Fatty Zhu took advantage of the situation. Xiaohan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He thought to himself, these two fatties, one old and one young. It seemed that they were all very shameless. At this time, the heavenly demon elder also brought Mo Qingtong over. Therefore, the sect, the heavenly demon sect, and the giant sword sect formed a small group. They talked to each other in low voices and minded their own business. Xiaohan also saw Xiao Yunrong looking at him from the corner of his eye. But standing beside Xiao Yunrong was Shimen Piaoxue, who had a cold and murderous expression. She didn't dare to walk over. In the crowd, there were a few outstanding young people. They were the other seeded contestants in addition to the 6 seeded contestants in the group of death. They were the crown prince of the Soul Mountain Empire. It was said that he fell into the dragon blood pool when he was young, causing his body to be tainted with dragon qi. He was known as the true dragon bloodline. Li Ziki was an itinerant cultivator in the pugilistic world. His flying dagger was extremely demonic and never missed. Tian Yuan of the Sea God Empire suppressed the ocean storm with one finger. Cheng Feng was an itinerant cultivator in the Blazing Sun Empire. When he used his demonic flame palm, the stars were blinded and his killing intent was fierce. These people were also outstanding. At this moment, these experts looked at Xiaohan from time to time. There was a pondering look in their eyes. But none of them came over to him. Xiaofan looked around for a while and then retracted his gaze. The spirit turtle vital chi surged and sealed his powerful flesh shell and true acupoints one by one, causing his entire aura to be unfathomable like a withered tree or rock. The heavenly demon elder praised. "Good boy. You sealed your aura again." Indeed, such a state of unpredictability was the most advantageous in the actual competition. Because no one can see through you. Those who show off their abilities will be at a disadvantage instead. They are in danger of becoming the target of public criticism. Xiaofan. The heavenly demon elder looked at Xiaofan deeply. "This old man will hand Qingtong over to you. I hope you can take good care of her. It is this old man's wish that the both of you can become the new generation of demon heroes together." Ha ha ha. "Brother Wu, you hope so too, right?" The heavenly demon elder's words were full of double entendres and seemed to be very ambiguous. "Master, don't talk nonsense, lest Brother Xiao misunderstands." Mo Qingtong's cherry lips moved slightly. She was shy and timid, and her eyes were like silk. Every smile and frown was naturally charming, and the charm of a peerless beauty. As she spoke, she glanced at Xiaofan with her watery demonic eyes, which made Xiaofan unable to take it. "We, the older generation, should not blindly interfere in the matters of the young people." Wu Lei laughed. "Right at this moment, all the demons are here, right?" On the lotus platform, the bald elder Duan said with his hands behind his back. His expression was dignified without being angry, and it immediately shocked the entire scene, causing the people below to become silent. "Yes." The bald old man swept his gaze over and nodded slightly. "Everyone is here. Good, this old man will personally lead all of you to the demon hero region. Those who want to accompany us, please follow behind. The younger generation will soon start to challenge their fate. The older generation should have already given you all the instructions. You can leave now. Don't be hypocritical. A flower in a greenhouse will always be a weak existence." "Heh, Elder Duan is really..." Wu Lei laughed involuntarily. Then, he said to Xiaofan and Huo Wu, "All right, be careful. This sect will wait for your good news." After saying that, Wu Lei was very free and easy. He brought Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, and the other true disciples of the reincarnation sect and walked away. The heavenly demon elder, Zhu Ganglai, Shimen Piao Shui, and the others also walked away one by one. The 300 young people stood on the spot. They raised their eyes and looked at the bald elder Duan who was standing on the lotus platform on the high cliff. "Let's go." Elder Duan's eyes that were filled with scarlet light and runes were burning with excitement. He muttered in an extremely low voice. "This scene reminds this old man of the time when I participated in the demon hero selection competition when I was young. How many years has it been?" Ha 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 ha. Elder Duan laughed heartily. In the next moment. Boom, it was a vast sea of golden light. It spurted out from all the true meridians in Elder Duan's body. It covered the sky and covered the earth. Its pressure was overwhelming. In the golden ocean, densely packed runes and the word treasure were swimming. It was overflowing with treasure light. In a few breaths, this golden ocean transformed into a huge monster. It was actually a swan. Its size was over 100 mu. Its aura was world-shocking. Its entire body was golden, as if it was carved out of precious stones. Every single scale was covered in blood. They were all engraved with mysterious runes. They were dazzling. It was too terrifying. Its eyes were displaying the prehistoric civilization. This was a ferocious creature that could destroy the world. It was the true chi of the bald elder Duan. The 300 young people, including Xiaofan, almost prostrated themselves under the powerful pressure of the swanni. They felt that they were too small and insignificant. It could be foreseen that a single breath from the Swanni would definitely be able to destroy this group of the most outstanding talents in the southern region. Go! Elder Duan grabbed with his right hand. A wave of energy pulled the 300 young people into the air. They were directly thrown onto the Swanni's vast back. Immediately after, Elder Duan and a few old antiques moved together. They jumped onto the Swanni. Boom! In an instant, the Swanni transformed into a dazzling golden light and disappeared without a trace. Its speed was over 100 times faster than the speed of sound. Huh! We've finally set off. Sect Master, let's follow them. Xiao Mingchu couldn't wait and shouted. Endless light shot out from his body and transformed into a divine bird. It carried him and flew away like a meteor to chase after the Swanni. The Swanni casually grabbed a few white clouds from the sky and flew away from the Sunset Mountain together with the many true disciples of the reincarnation sect. The heavenly demon old man's true chi transformed into a black dragon that was over 100 feet long. It rode on the clouds with a monstrous demonic aura and a strong ancient aura. It flew side by side with the Swanni's white clouds. Zhu Gonglia's true chi transformed into a flying divine pig that was the size of a few acres. It followed behind at a moderate speed. Shimen Piao Shui summoned a sword aura tornado. In the spectator seats, many people also released their true chi and transformed into various savage beasts, ferocious birds, cauldrons, and utensils. In an instant, the sky was filled with dazzling colors. Countless people followed behind like a swarm of bees. The Swanni's back. 300 people stood on the Swanni's back. Not only was it not crowded, but it was also very sparse. Xiaofan, Huada, Fatty Zhu, and Mo Qingtong naturally gathered together and whispered to each other. Are we going to the Yaoxia region? Xiaofan whispered. Yes. Mo Qingtong nodded. The Yaoxia region is the main examination venue of the past Yaoxia region. The Yaoxia region is a sacred ground. Seriously speaking, it is the supreme region of our Zhenwu continent. It is not to be blasphemed or violated. Countless Yaoxia warriors use their lives to defend their homeland. In Mo Qingtong's demonic eyes, there was also a strong yearning. Oh right, that Elder Duan, I don't know what realm he is at. I feel that he is very powerful. I wonder when we can cultivate to his realm. Xiaofan looked at Elder Duan and the few old antiques standing in front of him. Pfft! Mo Qingtong covered her mouth and laughed. Brother Xiao, Elder Duan is one of the few strong people in the entire southern region. His combat strength is not inferior to your sect master Wu and Qingtong's master. He is a giant who is thousands of years old. An existence of this level has even fought against the demon race Great Emperor. Demon race Great Emperor. Xiaofan whispered. The demon emperor palm tattoo on his left hand trembled slightly. Maybe after I absorb enough demon race blood essence or even demon imperial crystals, my demon emperor palm will be able to unleash the terrifying techniques of the demon race Great Emperor. Xiaofan secretly thought. At this moment, on the other side, Xiao Yunrong, who was standing alone, finally walked towards Xiaofan. She was the only one from Mingjian Villa who had entered the main competition this time. She seemed to have not found a suitable ally and appeared to be very lonely. Xiaohan. Xiao Yunrong called out weakly. Yunrong. Xiaohan smiled and greeted her naturally and generously. Xiaohan, can I go with you? Xiao Yunrong mustered up her courage and asked. Xiao Yunrong had a head of golden wavy hair and a noble aura. Her facial features were exquisite and she exuded a mature charm. After comprehending the sword essence, she looked valiant and was definitely a rare beauty. Fatty Zhu immediately called out. Sure. What is your surname? Mo Qingtong and Huada looked at each other. They could not help but compare Xiao Yunrong with themselves in their hearts. This was the nature of women. Heh, we are all friends. Then let's go together. Xiaofan smiled. He had a good personal relationship with Xiao Yunrong. Moreover, Xiao Yunrong was his brother Ah Chao's cousin. Hence, Xiaofan did not reject her. Do you have any objections? Xiaofan looked at Mo Qingtong and Hua De. To be continued. Chapter 161. Huh. How dare I have any objection to Brother Zhao's confidant? Mo Qingtong said with a smile. The silver bracelet on her arm bumped against each other slightly, making a devilish sound. Suddenly, Xiao Yunrong's eyes were like silk, and her face was flushed. She put her hand on Xiaohan's shoulder, and her body became soft. Her voice was as soft as cotton. Xiaohan. I'm so hot. As she spoke, she actually wanted to undress herself. But after a breath, a sharp sword light flashed in Xiao Yunrong's eyes, making her wake up instantly. Her eyes were full of confusion and anger as she stared at Mo Qingtong. Mo Qingtong covered her mouth and chuckled, I'm just joking. Sister, don't take it to heart, this joke is not funny. Xiao Yunrong was ashamed and angry. She quickly moved her hand away from Xiaohan's shoulder and did not dare to look at him. Xiaohan was also very embarrassed. Miss Mo, you'd better not make such a joke. Okay, I'm just playing. Mo Qingtong repeatedly begged for mercy. She even looked like she had been wronged, which made people laugh. After this little interlude, the few of them settled down and sat down, closing their eyes to rest. Although Xiao Yunrong was annoyed by Mo Qingtong's rude teasing, she could only endure it. Bian flew for a day and a night. They began to descend slowly. Everyone, we're about to arrive at the Devil Xia region. Old Duan said. We've arrived at the Devil Xia region. On Swan Knee's back, a group of young people looked excited as they looked down at the scene below. Wow! Boss Xiao, we've finally arrived at the legendary Devil Xia region. Fatty is so nervous. Fatty Zhu's face was hot and red. He rubbed his eyes and stared down. I want to see what the Devil Xia region is like. Xiaohan could not hide his excitement and curiosity. He looked out. With one look, Xiaohan was shocked. What he saw was a big world. There were continents, oceans, divine mountains that glistened with the light of treasures, palaces that rose and fell majestically like heavenly palaces, burning with golden splendor, and grasslands that were full of immortal herbs and lingji. Looking down from the sky, there were many rivers that flowed like jade ribbons. Xiaohan saw that the azure ocean was very magnificent. The sea was sunny and breezy, exuding the aura of spring. Huge ships were anchored at the port along the coast, and many shops and high-end buildings had been set up. Moreover, everything here was very colorful and rich in layers. There were mountains in the distance and rivers nearby. It was full of dreamy poetry. The air was clear and clean. Pure and untainted. There was not the slightest trace of the demon clan sent here. Ah! The Devil Hero region is really overflowing with spiritual qi. I can feel it with just a slight breath. The air was warm, lingering, and nourishing. When inhaled, it could even wash away the impurities and filth in the body. Snow Bath Spirit. I thought that if someone was born here, they would definitely be born with a strong physique, immune to all diseases, and their meridians would be unobstructed. The origin of the Yaoxia region is many times stronger than that of the four regions. Mo Qingtong also sighed. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, looking intoxicated and enjoying it. In the azure sky, there were still birds and birds flying past. There were even rays of light, and traces of some powerful figures could be vaguely seen. After coming to the Devil Hero region, the younger generation of the southern region were like country bumpkins entering the city. Their eyes were filled with surprise and shock, and all of them were overwhelmed and intoxicated. Suddenly, Xiaofan saw that in the middle of the Devil Hero region, there was a towering pagoda. The pagoda was at least 100,000 meters tall, and it pierced deeply into the sky and the clouds. It was majestic, ancient, elegant, and magnificent, and it stretched for thousands of kilometers. It gave off a scholarly aura, and it gave off a sense of civilization and enlightenment. It caused the world to be filled with a righteous aura, and it simply made one feel deep veneration. The whole body of the pagoda was blooming with sacred rays of light, making people unable to look at it directly. It was like a temple. Layers upon layers. It was divided into layers, and each layer was magnificent. It was estimated that there were more than 1,000 layers. It was really too solemn. Not only could it not be seen at a glance, but it also made people want to kneel down and worship. It was as if this pagoda was the birthplace of the civilization of the entire Zhenwu continent. Vaguely, a large number of giant reliefs could be seen carved on the pagoda. The contents of these reliefs could not be seen clearly, but it seemed to be describing the birth of this world and the mysteries of this universe. This pagoda was really suffocating. This was just looking at it from afar. If they approached the pagoda, even Xiaofan could not guarantee that they would not prostrate and worship it. Young people, this is the Devil Hero Pagoda. The bald elder Duan introduced as he landed on the ground. His tone was very serious and solemn. What you are looking at is the core building of the entire Devil Hero region, the Devil Hero Pagoda. It is supreme. It can be said that it is the Devil Hero Pagoda that supports this world, so that it will not become a paradise for the demons. It is the holy land in the hearts of all the demons. How great! A young woman exclaimed. It's really great. I heard that the owner of the Devil Hero Pagoda is an immortal. I wonder if it is true. Ha ha ha. The bald elder Duan and the other old antiques all began to laugh. They exchanged glances with each other, but none of them said anything. Elder Duan continued. Young people, don't make wild guesses. There is still some distance to the examination venue. Everyone, be quiet and listen to this old man's explanation. Everyone held their breath. They looked at Elder Duan eagerly. Xiaofan also licked his lips, his heart full of fascination. The Devil Hero region is very vast. Only after becoming a Devil Hero will you be qualified and have the authority to stay in the Devil Hero region. It is impossible for mortals and ordinary martial artists to enter the Devil Hero region. In the Devil Hero region, there is a civilization that is beyond your imagination. This is a place greater than the depths of the great wilderness. Once you become a real Devil Hero, then the Devil Hero region will be your home. Elder Duan said with a smile. The Devil Hero region belongs to the Devil Hero. Wow! The young people cheered in their hearts. Elder Duan's simple words had aroused their desire to become Devil Heroes. It was extremely provocative. Elder Duan continued. As for the Devil Hero Pagoda, this old man will tell you. Even if you are a Devil Hero, you also need to spend a lot of contribution points to enter. The Devil Hero Tower is the pinnacle of the entire Devil Hero region. Because this year's Hex trial was the one with the highest value. So, here, this old man will give you a hint. In this year's Devil Hero trial, the little guy who stands out and finally becomes a Devil Hero will directly obtain the right to enter the Devil Hero Tower. Ha ha ha. You have to know. Some low-level Devil Heroes will never have the chance to enter the Devil Hero Tower in this life. Senior, in the Devil Hero Tower, what kind of magical civilization and great things are there? A young man could not help but blurt out. Ha ha ha. Young people are too curious. Just like this old man back then. Elder Duan's attitude was very kind. When I was your age, I followed the senior Devil Hero to the Devil Hero region to participate in the trial. I also asked a lot of questions and wanted to know everything. Ha ha ha. To put it simply, in the Devil Hero Tower. There is the most advanced auction house in the entire Zhenwu continent, where you can buy anything you want. What are they? For example, any news and intelligence you want, all kinds of immortal herbs, immortal medicines, keys to various secret realms, maps, and even the elixir of immortality. By the way, there are also immortal techniques, which have also appeared in the auction house. There are many secret cultivation rooms in the Devil Hero Tower. There are also ancient and great teleportation formations. In short, you can find everything you want in the Devil Hero Tower. Wow, the group of young people was excited again. Senior, you mean, in this year's Devil Hero trial, as long as you become a Devil Hero, you can directly enter the Devil Hero Tower? A young man's face was flushed. Yes. Your cohort has this privilege. I remember when I was in my year, after I became a Devil Hero, I experienced many life and death missions, and it took me about 10 years to earn enough contribution points to enter the Devil Hero Tower. Of course, to be honest, the mortality rate in my year's Devil Hero trial was not as high as yours. The difficulty is relatively much lower. Elder Duan said with certainty. After a pause, Elder Duan's expression became serious again. Okay, everyone, let's have a brief understanding of the Devil Hero region and the Devil Hero Tower. Don't delve into it for the time being. Now, for you, the top priority is the Devil Hero trial. You will soon enter the entrance of the examination room. Waiting for the candidates from the east, west, north, and great wilderness. Once everyone had arrived, the first examiner of the official competition would appear. I'm only responsible for sending you to the entrance of the examination room. It's up to you how you're going to go. Like you, I'm from the southern region. Therefore, I hope that every candidate here can successfully become a Devil Hero and win glory for our entire southern region. However, I have to say that the Devil Hero trial is extremely cruel and terrifying, and can even be called abnormal. From the moment you enter the entrance of the examination room, your life will completely enter a countdown. If you want to survive and become a Devil Hero, then you have to work hard. Okay, close your eyes and rest. In a few hours, we will arrive at the entrance of the examination room. Brother Xiao, it's great to become a Devil Hero. We can live in the Devil Hero region. Especially after entering the Devil Hero Tower, it's full of novelty and all kinds of things that we've never heard of. Mo Qingtong looked excited. Huiyang was also thinking. If I can enter the Devil Hero Tower and pay the corresponding price, I will definitely be able to find out the true culprit behind my family's massacre. The fat on Fatty Zhu's face trembled. Boss Xiao, did you hear that? There's even an immortal technique in the Devil Hero Tower. Do you know what Fatty's dream was since he was young? That is to become an immortal. Brother Zhu, your dream is really too great. Xiaofan was speechless. Fatty Zhu kept laughing dryly. After calming himself down, Xiaofan's expression also became very serious. I suggest that everyone not fantasize too much about the Devil Hero region and the Devil Hero Tower. After all, that's still very far away. What's in front of us is the main competition. The death rate is more than 90% of the main competition. In short, don't dream first, let's talk about it if we can survive. Yes. Xiao Yunrong nodded very seriously. Yes, Boss Xiao, what you said makes too much sense. Speaking of which, Fatty was getting more and more nervous. In a while, we will meet the geniuses of the Eastern region, Western region, Northern region, and the Great Wilderness. I don't know what they will look like. Will they all look fierce and want to kill Fatty the moment they meet? I really feel so scared. How can I pretend not to be afraid or nervous? Fatty. Shut up. Don't be so long-winded. Mo Qingtong glared at Fatty Zhu, scaring him into hiding behind Xiaohan. A few hours later, Bian flew towards a divine mountain. Before landing on the top of the mountain, Elder Duan's voice sounded again. Everyone, get ready. We've arrived at the entrance of the examination room. Chapter 162. The entrance to the test site was set up on the peak of an endless sacred mountain. At the peak of the mountain was a huge man-made square. It covered an area of more than 100,000 acres. At first glance, it seemed to be boundless. The Swan and I broke down into billions of rays of light and merged into Elder Duan's acupoints. All of you, wait here, Elder Duan and the other old-timers who had come with him said. At this time, the participants from the other regions and the vast wilderness had not arrived yet. There were only 300 participants from the southern region, looking around nervously. The area of the square was too big, making the few hundred people in it look very small. On one side of the square was a steep cliff, and on the other side was a huge and heavy stone door. The stone door was dozens of feet high and 7 or 8 feet wide. It was tightly shut, and no one knew what was behind it. There were many obscure patterns and runes engraved on the stone door, adding to its mystery. I guess the path to the test site is behind the stone door, Xiaofan said to Mo Qingtong and the others. Xiaofan, Mo Qingtong, Fatty Zhu, Huafan, and Xiao Yunrong formed a small group, clearly separated from the others. Once the stone door opens, we'll enter the main competition, Huafan said in a low voice. He looked very nervous and his heart was beating fast. I wonder what the first test is. Old Duan and the other old-timers who had come with him stopped chatting with the youngsters and simply stood off to the side, waiting. At this moment, Xiaohan, Mo Qingtong, a cold and arrogant man's voice sounded. A group of people walked directly toward Xiaohan and the others. This group was led by Li Ziki and Cheng Feng, one of the top 10 seeded participants of the southern region preliminaries. Xiaohan looked up and saw the devilish Li Ziki greeting him and Mo Qingtong. Xiaohan, we're about to enter the main competition. Li Ziki walked over and looked at Xiaohan. Li Ziki was young and handsome, but his eyes were too sharp and full of vigor. He had a kind of pride that made everyone bow down to him. His temperament was almost devilish. Cheng Feng, who was standing beside Li Ziki, glanced at Mo Qingtong, Xiao Yunrong, and Wuxia with undisguised lust. There were more than 100 people following behind them. Xiaohan, it wasn't easy for you, Mo Qingtong, and Fatty Zhu to stand out from the death group and get a place in the main competition. However, the main competition was many times more difficult than the preliminaries. With just the strength of the three of you, it will be very difficult to survive. Li Ziki said coldly and arrogantly. How about this? You guys join my team and Cheng Feng's. Together, we'll fight against the other powers in the main competition. Gain a reputation and become a swordsman. Join your team? Xiaohan was stunned. To be honest, he had never thought of teaming up with anyone unrelated to him. Xiaohan couldn't even completely trust Mo Qingtong, Fatty Zhu, and the others, let alone Li Ziki and Cheng Feng, whom he had never interacted with before. Moreover, Li Ziki's temperament was too gloomy. He was definitely not a good person. Cooperating with such a person was tantamount to asking a tiger for its skin. Mo Qingtong, Fatty Zhu, Xiao Yunrong, and Wuxia didn't speak. Seeing that Xiaohan didn't agree to the request of teaming up, Li Ziki's killing intent flashed in his eyes. His pupils contracted and he said indifferently. Xiaohan, there are 10,000 people participating in the main competition. It's no small matter. You can't be naive enough to think that you can pass with just the few of you, right? How stupid. Cheng Feng and I have roped in more than 100 people. We can be considered a rather influential team. If you don't join us and don't borrow our power, you'll definitely die. Towards the end, Li Ziki's tone was no longer one of discussion, but a naked threat. Hey! Xiaohan's heart was boiling with anger. He was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. Being threatened directly made him feel very uncomfortable. Moreover, Xiaofan saw Cheng Feng's greedy gaze at Mo Qingtong, Xiao Yunrong, and Wuxia. This made Xiaofan instinctively feel a surge of killing intent. Xiaofan sneered. He said indifferently. "Join your team? I'm not interested." Xiaofan. Cheng Feng suddenly looked at Xiaofan viciously. His whole body was filled with demonic aura, and his killing intent was terrifying. "You probably think that by defeating idiots like Xiaofan and Huolai, you're the strongest in the younger generation of the southern region, right? Ha ha ha. You're too naive. Xiaofan and Huolai are just little flowers kept in a greenhouse by the sect. You can't defeat them with your real ability. Now, I'll give you a chance. If you're willing to join our team, it'll be good for you, me, and everyone. If you disobey, after entering the main competition, I'll have plenty of opportunities to deal with you. At that time, you won't even know how you died." This Cheng Feng was extremely bloodthirsty. Moreover, he was a rogue cultivator who lived on the edge of the Jianghu. He could easily kill an entire sect and was lawless. Therefore, now, he publicly issued an ultimatum to Xiaofan. "Get lost." Xiaofan didn't even think about it. He said indifferently. "Get lost right now." Oh. Hearing this, Li Ziki and Cheng Feng's faces were filled with anger. True qi surged in their bodies, as if they were ready to attack at any time. Mo Qingtong smiled. Her magic eyes of Jianshui became brighter and brighter. Fatty Zhu's whole body trembled, as if he was scared out of his wits. His fat ball-like body kept retreating, but between the rolling of his eyes, there was a trace of undetectable killing intent. "All right. Don't attack for now. It's not worth it if these idiots affect the main competition. After entering the main competition, I'll make them regret it." Humph. Li Ziki looked at old Duan and the others in the corner of the square. Then, he gave Xiaofan and the others a deep look and signaled Cheng Feng to leave. On the other side of the square, the Crown Prince of Lingshan and Tian of the Ocean Emperor sect had also roped in hundreds of people. The Crown Prince of Lingshan also looked at Xiaofan with an imposing manner. When he saw Li Ziki and Cheng Feng returning in defeat, he was slightly stunned. Then, he observed and analyzed Xiaofan with a playful look. Mo Qingtong's eyes swept over from time to time, and there was a strong sense of dominance between his brows. The main competition had not officially started. Even the geniuses of the other regions and the great wilderness had not arrived yet. The square was already filled with the smell of gunpowder and undercurrents were surging. If old Duan and the others were not present, blood would have already flowed like a river. "Boss Xiao," Fatty Zhu said in a low voice, "those guys are so fierce. Fatty is afraid that they have ulterior motives and will stab us in the back during the main competition. So scary. Brother Zhu, don't be afraid. When the time comes, I'll cover you. You just need to release your giant sword and crush all of them to death. That's all." Xiaofan smiled. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Sweat. "Boss Xiao, are we really going to make a move?" Fatty Zhu licked his lips. "Once we enter the main competition, anyone who is disadvantageous to us will be wiped out in advance," Xiaofan said with an unquestionable tone. Then, he looked at Mo Qingtong. "Miss Mo, what do you think? If Brother Xiao says to kill, then let's kill." Mo Qingtong said softly. Her tone was like that of a gentle and virtuous wife who was obedient to her husband's every whim. However, the killing intent and demonic aura in her eyes were shocking and monstrous. Xiao Yunrong secretly observed Fatty Zhu and Mo Qingtong. She nodded secretly. These two guys are not simple characters. Of course, Xiaohan is not simple either. Back then, in our Xiao clan gathering, Xiaohan was only at the physical body realm. Although he was monstrous at that time, he was not heaven-defying enough. But now, I can't see through him at all. At this moment, scarlet clouds surged in the sky, and true energy surged like a tide. A huge primordial phoenix covered the sky and covered the sun. There was lightning lingering between its wings as it flew over like an aurora. Boom! Soon, the primordial phoenix landed on the plaza on the summit. It turned into rays of light and auspicious clouds and merged into the body of a skinny, black-robed, sinister-looking old man. A group of young people were led by a few old antiques to the plaza. All of these young people were full of vigor and vitality. Their true energy burned like the sea, and their battle prowess was shocking. Ha ha ha! Brother Duan, our northern domain's enchantresses are here. The black-robed, skinny old man laughed loudly. Elder Duan brought a few old antiques with him to welcome them. Elder Duan smiled. Brother Ouyang, the young people of the northern domain this time are all extraordinary. Same here. The 300 enchantresses of the southern domain are also outstanding. There are a few who are quite decent. The black-robed, skinny old man's gaze pierced through everything. He glanced at the 300 young people of the southern domain. Immediately, the 300 young people of the southern domain felt like they had been seen through. The demon egg and seal in Xiaofan's heart shrank to a speck of dust. He did his best to control the spirit turtle's true energy to seal the demon emperor's palm tattoo on his left arm. He was extremely nervous. The participants of the Northern Domain's main competition had finally arrived. At this moment, the young generation of the Northern and Southern Domain were looking at each other with deep hostility in their eyes. Xiaofan, although the Northern Domain only has a third of the Southern Domain's people, their battle prowess is not inferior at all. I see at least a dozen guys with auras comparable to Li Ziki and Chengfeng. Xiao Yunrong whispered to Xiaofan warily. It doesn't matter. Let's look at the geniuses of the Eastern Domain, Western Domain, Great Wilderness, and the Devil Hero Domain. Xiaofan was calm and steady. At this moment, the young people of the Northern and Southern Domain have arrived? A rough voice came from the western sky. However, Brother Duan, Brother Ouyang, the young generation of the Western Domain has been living in an abyss of suffering since they were young. They have to be on guard against the invasion of the Demon Clan at all times. Who asked the Demon Clan of the Western Domain to be so rampant? To be able to grow up in such an environment, the youngsters were all able to take charge of their own affairs, and they were extremely outstanding. I think the young people of the Western Domain are the best of the four domains in terms of battle prowess and survival ability. They won't lose to the powerful Eastern Domain. A primordial red dragon came from the west. An old man in a red robe stood on the dragon's head, looking down on the world. On the dragon's back, there were 10 young people. All of their eyes were firm and fierce, and their battle intent was wild. It was as if a casual glance was a provocation. These are the most outstanding young people of the Southern and Northern Domain? I don't think so. I wonder if they will wet their pants after seeing the Demon Clan. A young man in a white robe with dark skin said. His eyes were like swords, piercing through the sky, and his whole body was rolling with a strong battle intent, dominating the wilderness. As soon as he spoke, the young people behind him all laughed out loud, as if they were not afraid of anything at all. The ferocity of the Western Domain's people was vividly reflected by this group of young people. For a moment, the young people of the Northern and Southern Domain all stared at the young people of the Western Domain angrily. Even on the Northern Domain side, there were already many people who started cursing. Young people should be like this as soon as they meet. There is no smell of gunpowder at all. How can it be called the Devil Hero Trial? The old man in a red robe who led the young people of the Western Domain here not only didn't stop them, but also laughed. The next moment, boom, in the eastern sky, auspicious clouds surged, heavenly flowers fell, and divine sounds were faintly discernible. A 3-story ship that was hundreds of feet long came with the wind. There were some young men and women walking around on the ship. All of them had extraordinary grace and noble auras. Strong waves of true qi swept across the entire peak in an instant, firmly suppressing the aura of the young people of the northern, southern, and western domain. This ship seemed to have come from the celestial world, making the people on the ship as hazy as fog and as ethereal as clouds, all like immortals descending to the mortal world. They were so superior. On the deck of the ship was a young man that was terrifyingly handsome. His entire body was coiled with dragon qi, and his aura was oppressive and luxurious. He held a jug of wine in his hand and was drinking lightly, and he had a graceful bearing like a noble young master. His gaze swept downwards, and his tone was light as water. I heard that the talents of the southern, and western domains are declining, far less prosperous than our eastern domain. Today, I see that it is true. In the southern, and western domains, there are only a few young people who can barely hold the fort, but they want to participate in this year's Devil Hero trial. When the time comes, they will all die without a burial place, sad and pitiful. Why do you have to do this? The guys in the eastern domain have always been arrogant. They have been like this since ancient times. When I participated in the Devil Hero trial, I also met a group of guys from the eastern domain, and they were all killed by me. Today, another group has come. How I wish they would all be wiped out. Elder Duan's eyes were frighteningly vicious, and the muscles at the corners of his eyes kept twitching. Brother Xiao, the people from the eastern domain have come. TSK, there are a lot of them. Mo Qingtong looked up and said in Xiaofan's ear. Yes, there are 1,500 places in the eastern domain, more than 3 times the total number of places in the northern, southern, and western domains. Xiaofan nodded. The ship disassembled. 1,500 beautiful people from the eastern domain, led by several old antiques, descended to the peak. These young people from the eastern domain were all like imperial envoys who had come to the countryside. They all looked at the young generation of the southern, and western domains with a sense of superiority, as if they were looking at country bumpkins. These young people from the eastern domain were all wrapped in auspicious clouds, auspicious qi, long rainbows, and extravagant flowers. They looked very imposing. Of course, among the 1,500 people, there were a large number of geniuses with high realms, terrifying auras, and special physiques. They should not be underestimated. Xiaofan observed for a while and found that among the people from the eastern domain, there were many experts in the 5th level of true qi. There were also some people who had obviously comprehended saber intent or sword intent. Ha, Devil Hero region. The children of the great wilderness are here. Ha. Suddenly, a rumbling voice exploded from the sky, like the roar of a demon god. An obscure pressure came from afar. Everyone on the plaza at the summit raised their heads to watch. They saw a huge dark cloud rolling over. In this dark cloud, thousands of tyrannical auras converged, causing the clouds in the sky to automatically split open, and the air to crackle under the pressure. In the dark cloud, there were roars of wild beasts and cries of fierce phoenixes. These sounds tore gold and iron, and pierced through metal and stone. Vaguely, thousands of people could be seen in the dark cloud. Every one of them was like a demon god. Their flesh shells crushed everything, and a slight breath could shatter the air. The danger shattered the tranquility of the area. Waves of aura of the great wilderness covered the sky and covered the earth. Suddenly, a 3-meter-tall middle-aged man took a step forward. His mouth was like a sea of blood, his eyes were like the sun and moon, and his head was like a mountain. Anyone who looked at him would feel as if they had fallen into a boundless and terrifying desolate land. This middle-aged man's flesh shell was so strong that it was hard to describe. A slight breath seemed to be able to suck the whole sky into his stomach. It was just like the primordial demonic rock, who could swallow the sun and the moon. This year's Devil Hero Trial is the stage for the children of the Great Wilderness. All the places to advance will fall into the hands of the children of the Great Wilderness. The fate of the world has gradually shifted to the Great Wilderness. This year's Devil Hero Trial will prove this point. The middle-aged man said arrogantly. The people of the Great Wilderness had also arrived. There were a lot of people, up to people. The lineup was so grand that it was shocking. Chapter 163. The geniuses who participated in this year's Monster Hero Trial competition had arrived. Most of the geniuses came from the Great Wilderness, several times more than those from the East region. They finally arrived at the plaza at the peak of the mountain. The young generation of the North, South, East and West region all looked over. The young generation from the depths of the Great Wilderness were too vigorous. Their flesh shells had the power to pull the earth from the sky. Some had pupils that were almost turning pale gold, some even had horn-like sarcomas on their foreheads, some had glistening skin like stars and gems, some looked like ferocious beasts, some were full of evil chi, as if they wanted to kill and eat people with just a glance. Some were covered with ferocious and ancient tattoos, some even had scales growing on their arms, some had an ancient and profound aura, with the aura of an emperor. When they opened and closed their eyes, lightning lingered. Shocking people, some seemed to be born a few meters tall, very special, obviously a mutant, some had a body like a treasure shell, with scarlet clouds and runes flashing. The people of the Great Wilderness came in all shapes and forms. Under the lead of the 3-meter-tall middle-aged man who released a heart-palpitating aura, the children of the Great Wilderness stood in line. They were also observing the young people of the North, South, East and West region. Most of them had disdain and ridicule in their eyes. Of course, although the Great Wilderness was powerful, the young generation of the North, South and East region were not too afraid. Those who were selected to participate in the main competition were all geniuses. They would not be easily frightened, instead, their fighting spirit was aroused. Xiaofan sealed his aura and the power of his flesh shell tightly. He was as calm as still water, observing the people of the Great Wilderness with great interest. His eyes were very clear, showing his inner calmness. Boss Xiao. Those are the people of the Great Wilderness. Their aura is too shocking, all of them look fierce. They are almost human. They should be our biggest enemies in the main competition. Fatty Zhu seemed to be scared silly, nagging in Xiaohan's ear. Yes, there are many experts in the Great Wilderness. Xiaohan nodded seriously. I heard from the sect master that in recent years, there has been a surge of talents in the young generation of the Great Wilderness. Many geniuses have been born. It seems that the ones participating in the main competition this time are the most outstanding ones. He just had to be careful. Other than that, the Eastern region is also flourishing. The Eastern region is flourishing and is the cradle of geniuses. Countless heroes with legendary experiences have risen there. Even though their numbers are not as good as the Great Wilderness, their quality is terrifyingly high. Comparatively speaking, our southern region, northern region, and western region are indeed much weaker. Now on the summit square, there were nearly 10,000 people, which suddenly raised the atmosphere, making the atmosphere of the Hex Hero preliminaries burst out at once. Elder Duan and the other old-timers were in charge of the 300 competitors from the southern domain, while the old-timers from the other domains and the Great Desolation kept the restless youngsters in check. That way, there wouldn't be any chaos. Alright, calm down. You must be very nervous right now, right? That's right. All the participants are about to arrive and the main competition is about to begin. It's impossible not to be nervous. Elder Duan lectured the 300 youths from the southern mountain range in a low voice. I can't help you too much. Try to control your emotions. Wait for the first examiner. Another old antique chimed in. When the first examiner comes, all of us who are not involved will have to leave. At that time, you will be completely handed over to the examiner. Elder Duan, seniors, I have a question. The Crown Prince of the Lingshan Empire suddenly spoke. Huh? The Crown Prince of the Lingshan Empire, right? What other questions do you have? Elder Duan asked. Elder Duan, in the main competition, do the contestants have to fight with each other? The Crown Prince of the Lingshan Empire glanced at the people from the Eastern Domain and the Great Desolation. If there is a bloody battle between different camps, the Northern, Southern, and Western domains will be at a disadvantage. Our numbers are less than that of the Eastern Domain and far less than that of the Great Desolation. If there is a melee, I'm afraid that the three domains will be wiped out. Hearing this, the faces of the younger generation of the Southern Domain became solemn. Elder Duan thought for a moment, then said. The examination questions of every Hex Hero preliminaries are different. But according to my experience, it's unlikely that there will be a melee. The examination questions will be very complicated and tortuous. Sometimes it's even purely a gamble of luck, not entirely based on one's realm and combat strength. Of course, there will definitely be fights between the contestants, and there will definitely be people who die in the hands of other contestants. In short, many unexpected things will happen. Well, don't ask any more, wait for the arrival of the first examiner. At this moment, boom, a ray of light, as if from the 9 heavens, shrouded the summit square. In an instant, heavenly flowers appeared in the void and fell one after another. Golden lotuses appeared on the ground, and the clouds were steaming. It was incomparably sacred. Young men and women with almost invincible auras walked out of the light. All of them were spotless, dignified. No more, no less, they were all people. They were all very young. There were men and women. All of their eyes were as deep as the Milky Way, glowing with an otherworldly brilliance. It was as if they were born to be superior to others. As soon as these people appeared, their eyes swept across the young people of the Eastern, Southern, Northern, and Western domains, and then looked at the people of the Great Desolation. Then, they all looked away and didn't look at anything else. It was as if they were born with a kind of pride and nobility, and looking at others was a kind of charity. These fellows are really arrogant. I know, the last young man named KC must be from the Wuxia region. The sect master once said that this is a talent cultivated by some of the old antiques of the Wuxia region. They are known as the biggest variable in this year's Wuxia trial, the most terrifying group of people. Xiaofan's heart moved. Now, all the contestants who participated in this year's Wuxia trial had arrived. 1,500 people from the Eastern Domain, 300 people from the Southern Domain, people from the Western Domain, people from the Northern Domain, 100 people from the Wuxia region, and people from the Great Desolation. There were a total of 10,000 people, no more and no less. Well, everyone is here. Elder Duan nodded. I think the first examiner will appear. Even I don't know who the first examiner will be. Everyone, our mission can be considered to have been completely completed. It's time for us to retire. The rest will depend on the performance of the youngsters. Leading the Northern region. The enchanting, skinny old man in a black robe also retreated to the side with a smile. In this way, many antiques all retreated to the side and gathered together to whisper and talk, no longer looking at the young people, as if they had completely let go. This time, all the little guys are here. It is indeed the most prosperous generation in history. Although there are only 10,000 people, the quality is too high. Yes, many young people actually have the quality to become low-level Wuxia. Now they have to go through a cruel selection, and maybe they will die. Thinking about it, I feel a little pity. These talents will be one less person if they die. You can't say that. The young people who can become Wuxia this time will all be brilliant in the future. They will revitalize our human clan, and maybe one day there will be immortals among them, Whether there will be immortals or not, I dare not make a conclusion, but I hope to see our human clan completely drive the demon clan out of this land in my lifetime. Even destroy the demon clan. At this time, a sudden cough sounded in the middle of the square on the summit. The cough wasn't loud, and it was faintly discernible. There was even a smell of gossamer. But everyone present felt as if their souls had been hit by a heavy hammer. All the young people, including Elder Duan and the other old antiques, were taken aback. They all looked in the direction of the sound and saw that in a deserted corner of the square, a void was slowly condensing, and then a door appeared. The door was very small, and the color of the wood showed that it was a wooden door. With a creak, the wooden door opened, and a sickly old man with a bent back and a sallow face walked out. The old man was emaciated, and at first glance, people could tell that he was only 40 to 50 kilograms, and he was very weak. And the most eye-catching thing was that the old man was a cripple. His left leg was dragging on the ground, making him look very comical. After a closer look, it turned out that his left leg had been broken, and now he was wearing a prosthetic one. It seemed that the old man was not only emaciated, but also half-crippled. The young people in the square were full of doubts. But Elder Duan and the other old antiques showed deep fear in their eyes. Elder Duan said in a low voice. So the first examiner is him. As expected of the cruelest devil hero trial in history. The first examiner is such a cruel and experienced devil hero. These young people are going to suffer. I reckon that after the first round of examination, many people will die. Alright, Brother Duan, don't make any noise. Let's leave. So that we don't offend this crippled old man. Damn it, when I was young, I participated in the devil hero trial, and this crippled old man was the examiner for the second last round. He looked like this at that time, and after so many years, he still looks the same, without any change. TSK, what an old monster. Let's go, let's go. The red-robed old man who brought the many beauties from the western region here urged repeatedly. In the past, the lame examiner would have appeared in the second last or third round. Who would have thought that he would appear in the first round? Dangerous, too dangerous. The 3-meter-tall middle-aged man who led the children of De Huang here also clicked his tongue. Cough, cough, cough. The crippled old man kept coughing as his gaze swept across all the young people in the square. His aura was extremely weak, as if he was a candle in the wind, at the end of his life, and could be extinguished at any moment. Furthermore, there was not the slightest fluctuation of true qi on the crippled old man's body. At first glance, people would conclude that he was just a sloppy old man with one foot in the grave. Boss Xiao, this old man, could he be the first examiner that Elder Duan mentioned? Fatty Zhu asked with an extremely incredulous voice. Don't make a sound. Xiaofan glared at Fatty Zhu. At this moment, the demon egg in Xiaofan's heart was emitting an extremely uneasy sense of danger. It was almost motionless, lying dormant like a speck of dust. It was as if it had become a dead object. This crippled old man is probably even scarier than Elder Duan. Xiaofan was clear in his heart. Cough, 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 cough. The crippled old man violently coughed a few times, and immediately said with a voice that was as weak as a gossamer. These are the little fellows who are participating in the selection this year? It's not bad, much more interesting than the previous years. His voice sounded very weak, but strangely, in such a huge square, it could be clearly transmitted into everyone's ears. Alright, this old man will be your first examiner. The crippled old man grinned, and immediately looked towards Elder Duan and the others, and impatiently waved his hand. All of you, quickly leave. Don't stay any longer, leave these little fellows to this old man. There's nothing for all of you here. After the crippled old man said this, Elder Duan and the others immediately left the summit square. Right now, in the entire summit square, there were only 10,000 participants and this nondescript crippled old man. Oh my God! This is the examiner for the first round of the examination? It can't be. It's just a crippled old man. It doesn't look like he has any cultivation, a half-crippled person. How is he going to test us? I originally thought that the examiner would definitely be a mighty figure who could swallow the 9 continents, who could shoot through the heavens. I didn't expect that it would be a skinny old man. His life force seems to have dried up. He should be an antique that is thousands of years old, or even tens of thousands of years old, and his lifespan is about to end. Let's not talk too much first, let's see what the first round of the examination is about. After knowing that this crippled old man was the examiner for the first round of the examination, many participants started to discuss in low voices, expressing their disbelief. Cough cough. The crippled old man coughed a few times again, and immediately said weakly, "Little fellows, congratulations on passing the intense preliminaries, entering the main competition, and coming here. I am very honored to be the main examiner for your first round of the main competition. Then, this old man wants to tell you, the first examination hall is behind this stone door." The crippled old man stretched out a finger that was as thin as a bamboo stick, and pointed at the huge sealed stone door at the end of the square. What will be behind that stone door? Xiaofan's heart was filled with anticipation, and also restlessness. The main competition is really about to begin. No matter how difficult it is, I, Xiaofan, will definitely win. In the end, I will become a demon hero. To be continued. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.